More to be done to clarify Ukraine's route to entry into the alliance, while others fear the promise of quick membership after the war would encourage Russia to...
What's up? Nope. This way. Nope.
You have to make it look like you're standing straight up, though. So you have to...
I think I am.
Don't lean into Hannah.
If you're wondering why we look like this,
I got it.
It's because Ryan...
I'm standing perfectly. The TV is off. I'm standing straight. You're not.
It's kind of tripping me out. I don't like it.
It is a little weird.
Ryan had to break stuff. So.
No, I didn't break anything. I went to fix it, and now I can't touch it.
Yes.
I'm banned.
Okay, welcome to today's show, 7-Eleven. And the YouTube poll today is asking, what level of government gives you the greatest concern? Is it local government, state government, or the federal government? Which one gives you the most concern?
Yeah, for Wiggins America, I'm not going to tell you the story that I'm going to bring, because there's a couple things that I'm going to lead into with this, but generally speaking, what makes somebody conservative, what makes somebody liberal is the general topic.
That's not what you said.
Yeah, I thought we were talking about
Ben & Jerry's.
Yeah, ice cream.
Oh, well, now you know.
Surprise! Ice cream it is.
Yeah, it's Ben & Jerry's. It has to do with Ben & Jerry's. Not just Ben & Jerry's, the ice cream.
Of the
but Ben & Jerry's, the individuals.
You gotta stay tuned to see how he connects those dots.
Right.
The Ben and the Jerry.
Yeah.
The Ben and the Jerry.
Big Ben, Big Jerry.
Is Ryan more of a Ben or a Jerry?
That's a great question.
That should be the poll today.
You 1,000% look like your name should be Ben. Or Kyle.
He does look like a Ben.
You know what? For my entire life, probably when the show was a little more popular, people would always say, "You sound like Seinfeld."
Did you say
like,
when the show was more popular?
Not this
like
show, Seinfeld.
Oh, I was like, what?
So say, for the record, our ratings have never been better.
No, not this show. Yeah, when Seinfeld was popular in the 90s. Back when the show was popular. Back when Seinfeld was on.
All right, at 1:05, if we're lucky, Jim Carafano will join this super popular show.
He's reconsidering, right?
Yeah, he's gonna be on comedians drinking coffee in cars.
He was such a fan that he tuned in for the pre-show, and now he's like, I don't know why I did
what?
this.
The camera's all tilted. I can't do this show.
Jim Carafano is the Vice President for Foreign and Security Policy at the Heritage Foundation, so he'll be with us at 1:05.
Ooh, talk about the Prime Day thing real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Amazon Prime Day. We are putting all of our Twitter handles in the live stream, and we want you to tweet at us what products we should buy for Prime Day.
Well, we've made a commitment. We promised to buy one thing by the end of the show.
Yes.
And we need your suggestions on what one thing should be.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know what
really
I'm going to tweet
I think
at Ryan.
I think Hannah has a good idea. The rest of us have no idea what we're going to get. So we need to know. Tell us what to get. Make sure it's cheap.
Our Twitter handles are all over the place, so tweet us what you think we each should buy, because we all said we'll buy one thing at least.
A minute 30, yeah, so you'll go
after this one. Happy Prime Day. Happy 7-Eleven.
Start tweeting us what we should buy. We need to know great deals happening on Prime Day right now.
Yeah, that's what I want. I want a deal. I want to feel like I got something, even if I don't want it.
Yeah, you don't need it. You don't need it. You don't need to want it. It just needs to be like.
But I need to feel like, man, that was incredible. I actually did that the other day at Ruler.
And scene. All right.
Or a debt consolidation loan. These programs, which the credit card companies like to keep secret, exist to aid American consumers struggling with overwhelming credit card debt by offering tremendous savings and real debt relief. Accredited Debt Relief has established a special hotline for you to call and learn what savings you qualify for. They've helped qualify consumers with over $1 billion in debt and are A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. So don't wait. Get the relief you need during these hard economic times. For this free information, call the Accredited Debt Relief Hotline now. Call 800-873-7171. 800-873-7171. 800-873-7171.
Air Comfort Service, online at aircomfortservice.com is where you keep your comfort zone right there squarely set in your home. I have had the pleasure and the unfortunate nature of having to call the HVAC people. It's not the most exciting phone call you're ever going to make, but when you do have to make it, I know what it feels like to go, this system isn't working right. and you need to call somebody, and you need to get someone in there who's going to provide you the care and service that you need, and you don't want to feel like you're being taken advantage of. I promise you that Air Comfort Service will give you that reassurance. They have for my family. We have called them back for our furnace, for our air conditioner, for our water heater. They've done an AeroSeal duct sealing in my home. And every single time, they make me more proud to be associated with them. They will provide you the service you need, and they also give you great opportunities if you have to go through a replacement to save. You can save up to $1,550 on Carrier Cool Cash rebates on any qualifying system. Also, 0% financing for up to 72 months. So if you have to make that unfortunate phone call that results in a replacement, they are going to ease that burden on you in every single way that they can while providing you the best service and products available. Reach out to them online at aircomfortservice.com.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. They're close, convenient, and have all the parts you need fast, along with excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how to link to the market without the risk. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go online to retirementkey.com.
This hour of the Annie Frey Show is brought to you by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Happy Tuesday. Welcome to the Annie Frey Show. This is so frustrating. I just turned the volume up on my headphones and this ear wasn't working. I think I got a little bit of a disconnection in the adapter portion of my headphones, and I need new headphones, which is why I keep shopping on Amazon Prime Day to find some, the ones that I want that are cheap. It's Prime Day. This is not what we're going to talk about all day, but we do have a proposition for you folks. Everybody's in the room. Ryan, welcome back.
Thank you.
Did you do something fun yesterday?
Nope.
Colonoscopy?
I can't say.
Was that what it was?
I can't say.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Well, do you remember when we were at the golf scramble at Tamarack?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I've got video. And we were trying to get the show ready, and Ryan, stood up in a really somber way and walked away on the phone. I was like, gosh, something might be wrong. So I was kind of keeping my eye on him, and he was sitting over there, and he looked very serious. And he came back, and I go, everything okay? And he's like, yeah. I go, you just look like you're taking a pretty serious phone call. He's like, I was scheduling a colonoscopy.
It was serious. It was a very serious phone call. I can't confirm or deny that.
Was that yesterday?
I cannot say whether it was yesterday or not.
How do you feel today? Clean?
I feel clean and used.
Oh.
Now that you've brought it up.
Was that where you were?
I cannot. No, I will not say. I promised someone in my life that I would not talk about that on the radio. So
should have told me that before we went on air.
I sure should have.
If you're making promises to the probably only person who I would care about you not making you break promises to. Anywho, you're good? Welcome back?
Yeah, I feel fine. Yeah, everything's good. Everything's great.
Hannah's back in here as well. So we have made a commitment. With it being Prime Day, I love Prime Day. I loved Prime Day a lot when I worked a desk job and I could spend the entire day just watching things be cheaper. So we have made a commitment here on the Annie Frey Show. Brad, Hannah, Ryan, and myself, we are going to buy something from Prime Day by the end of the show. Yeah. We have no idea what it is. We have nothing in our sights right now. We've got some things, like I've been looking for a certain set of headphones. So if I find that on sale, I'm going to buy that. But we are open to your suggestions. Mm-hmm. And if you see something and you think, wow, that just really screams Brad Range and he should really buy this, we've got our Twitter handles up on the YouTube live broadcast today, so you can see whose Twitter handle is what. We want you to share your suggestions with us of what you think we should buy by the end of the show on Prime Day. And we are probably going to feature in the 2 o'clock hour some of your suggestions. At Range Brad, at One Hannah Gibbs, at Radio Wiggins, at Annie Frey Show, FRUY. Join us and tell us what you think we should buy. Brad, do you have any ideas of maybe where you might want to go with an Amazon Prime purchase?
Yeah, I'm remodeling the man cave. So we're putting up.
So that could be fun stuff.
Yes.
That's a fun purchase.
Here, let me give you guys some hints. I'm trying to find a new place to display my new, not my new TV, my TV in the man cave. I need a different way of displaying that. Annie gave me some really cool LED lights for Christmas, so those are going to go up. But I probably need more ideas for LED lighting in the man cave. So if you come up with something like that, I would be looking at it.
Just
so
open
stuff like
to suggestions.
Yeah.
At Range Brad. Tweet him at Brad. Hannah's going to be watching your tweets as they come in to all of us, and we'll be watching as well, and so we'll feature some of your suggestions. Hannah, you've been looking at Prime. Yesterday, you didn't know much about it.
I've never bought anything from Prime Day before, so I don't really know. I logged onto the website today. The main page had everything. They had clothes, they had beauty products, they had home devices like we talked about yesterday. So I don't know what I'm gonna get. I don't need anything.
If you see something and it's a Hannah thing, throw a tweet at her and give her the suggestion. Yeah. Ryan, when you're shopping a big sale like Prime Day, there are a lot of people will say that Prime Day on the whole is bigger than Black Friday on Amazon.
I'm a little skeptical of Prime Day. I've never participated in it before.
It's right up your alley.
I am a Black Friday specialist.
Cheap stuff, easily accessible.
Yeah, and non-particular. Like if you just find a deal,
literally anything,
and you go, "Oh man, that's such a good deal. I don't need that thing, but what a price." That's the kind of thing that I am susceptible to.
So if you see something, this is what I want you to suggest for Ryan. Something, the most ridiculous thing you can find that is such a steal that he might just buy it.
And that's fine because I don't have, other than maybe a visor. I was looking at maybe getting a visor.
Visors. Oh my God. If you haven't seen some of the video from when we went to Disney World, when we got off the airplane, we got to the hotel, the room wasn't ready yet, so we had to maybe change a little bit in the bathroom or whatever. But when Ryan came out ready to be a tourist, I thought he was joking.
No, I wasn't. No, that's real.
Hannah and I looked at each other and were like, is this a skit?
No.
Is this a sketch?
I thought he was going to walk out and be like, ha ha, and then turn around and be like, okay, let me take it off. No.
He had on
That's what I wear.
Some big, baggy, I don't know, my recollection is red shorts.
I don't think they were red, but they were big baggy shorts that are not in style.
A big blue t-shirt that said Bizarro on it.
Bizarro Superman, yeah.
I don't know what that is, but okay. And this visor.
And a visor, you're missing one key component here.
Your fanny pack.
My fanny pack.
On top of it all.
And not the cool new fanny packs, the old ones that they just right in front there.
It said something on it.
It said Celebrate Becky. I don't know what it means.
Yeah, you do.
I got it somewhere and I have held on to it.
And
it was a red fanny pack. That's where you got confused.
I remember the bachelor party.
Your
in the
accent
hot tub.
color, like I thought maybe the red fanny pack meant, like wink wink something.
And
no, it means
blue sunglasses.
All I know is Ryan is done celebrating Becky.
Well, yeah. As of March 8th or whenever we came back. No, May 8th.
All right. I'm open to anything. I don't know what else I could tell you about me that you probably don't know already on this show. In fact, some people come up to me and will be like, telling me something, relating something that I've said on the air that I forget that I said publicly. And I'm like, how do you know that? It's like, oh, you said it. So at Annie Frey Show, at Radio Wiggins, at One Hannah Gibbs, at Range Brad, your Prime Day suggestions. And we promise at the end of the show, we will buy something off of Prime Day.
Mm-hmm.
Deal?
Deal.
All right. Yesterday, we talked quite a bit about the Joe Biden meltdown, and I'm seeing a lot of people kind of associating the revelation that Joe Biden cusses people out in the Oval Office. And I just want to ask the room, because I talked a lot about it yesterday. My take on this is the idea that the president is getting ticked off in the Oval Office and yelling curse words at people. I don't think that's new.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
To the office.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, that seems to probably be the
norm?
Common denominator.
Yes.
Yeah.
Does it matter when he is out there pushing that he is the uniter, the adult in the room, that he's our Uncle Joe, Grandpa Joe, or whatever? Does it bother you that this is what's going on in the Oval Office when he's presenting himself as his family man? Or is it a non-story?
It does. Oddly, this one does bother me because if I hear other presidents doing it, they sound like they're just getting tough. Like they're going to get on their staff or they're going to get tough with a foreign leader or something. They're going to flex their muscles as the leader of the free world. With Joe Biden, he already doesn't look like he ever does that. So for him to start cussing people out seems like it's really more of a reflection of what they do in public, which with him, it seems like he's just losing his mind more because that's what he is publicly.
Context.
Yes, context.
It's context. Because the story in and of itself, like, you think Donald Trump was in the Oval Office and upset with people and being like, it really feels like you put forth some effort into this, but if you could just get me this detail and this detail, I would just be really grateful.
Right. Yeah.
No, that's not how
so.
that went. I don't think any of the presidents were like that. And when I just think it's important to talk about the body of context as a whole. And yesterday I said on the show, when we talk about Uncle Joe or Grandpa Joe, and you start talking about Grandpa Joe and you realize he's grandpa to 6 kids, not 7 kids, because that's the way it's politically expedient, that doesn't fit at all. And then I sit back and I go, the whole thing is bologna sausage. It's all a ruse to make you believe what they need you to believe, not even long term. They're not even committed to it long term. They just need you to buy into it until the election happens. Go back to the student loan forgiveness that Joe Biden promised people possibly like you. Would you have benefited from that? I know you'd have paid for it. Anybody who was going to benefit from some student loan forgiveness, if you pay taxes, you're paying into it as well. But maybe you benefit from it, maybe you don't. All of that came out right before the election. And who came out in droves to support Joe Biden and his the ticket, basically, since he was not on the ticket in the midterms, but to support his agenda? Young people. In the wake of a Roe v. Wade decision that a lot of those young people don't completely understand, because the people out there don't need you to understand that Roe v. Wade, I mean, honestly, I was listening to Abby Johnson. She's the Planned Parenthood worker who now is a pro-life advocate. I was listening to her at the Vitae Foundation in October. And I'm just going to throw this in here, but the Vitae Foundation this fall in St. Charles has the pastor brother from the Robertson family. The Duck Dynasty Robertson family.
Okay.
Wow.
The pastor brother is going to be out there. And I think you should go to, prowomanaapproach.com. I'm remembering that off the top of my head.
Good job.
Prowomanaapproach.com and get tickets there if you want to attend that, if they're available. She was talking about when Roe v. Wade was overturned, it was a huge, momentous occasion for the United States of America. But instead of having one battle to fight where we could all come together and push for the idea that what was done previously on Roe v. Wade was not really like a constitutionally based assessment from the Supreme Court, which is why they overturned it, that now it goes to the states. So instead of having one battle to fight, now we have 50 battles to fight. So if you are somebody who is pro-abortion in the state of Illinois, you are having your heyday right now, because Illinois couldn't be any more progressive and aggressive on the pro-abortion front. Missouri, on the other hand, has really drawn back on access to abortion in the state. But if you understand how these things work, you know that in the Illinois side of the Mississippi River right now, they have mobile units. They have abortion on wheels, and they just parole like near the Mississippi River, these border states, next to a red state, so that they can offer abortions when you go across the river. That's not like put your fist in the air and pump for the idea that somehow or another Roe v. Wade has been toppled by the big bad conservatives. But the people on the left don't want you talking about that. All they want you to do is think Roe v. Wade, Republicans bad. Joe Biden family, lovable, relatable, accessible, good. I mean, it's that simple. And any more thinking that you will have to do or invest in it, I mean, I challenge you. The more you think, the more awful and dumb what the left is proposing to the American people is.
Yeah, the more you think about it, and we're talking about not just as president, but as vice president, possibly even as senator, there is nothing Joe Biden has ever done, personally, it seems, or professionally, that seems to suggest that he is a good family man. He has nothing. He has a good image. He has cultivated that.
Yes.
And that is it. Because when you peel back that curtain, there is nothing there. The way he has used his family, and now his family is maybe even using him for power, it's disgusting, and it's really kind of coming full circle.
Yeah, I mean, this goes all the way, like you said, he's cultivated this image. I was listening to a podcast this week, and I can't remember exactly which one, because about 3 or 4 different
Was it the Annie Frey Show podcast? That's how Ryan knows what's going on in the show.
on my weekends.
Oh, no.
He listens to it in reverse.
Unlike Ryan,
understand.
I pay attention to the show as it's going on.
I try to get hidden messages by listening to it backwards.
But anyway, they all of these different guests were kind of pointing out the same thing, that Joe Biden has worked really hard, and Ryan pointed it out as well, to cultivate this image of a family man. They said, but whenever you go back and look at kind of the things that he's done and what he's said and the way he's done this, he has used that to further his political gain, which is actually more disgusting than actually, not cultivating an image of a family man if you're not one. So they pointed to, like, whenever he was sworn into the Senate, he made sure that he was at the hospital with his 2 boys laying in bandages. Later on in life, he's changed the story about how his wife and daughter were killed in that car accident. He accused the driver of being a drunk driver. Reports are that isn't true, that it was just a car accident, as tragic as that was, but he's done that. He's changed the story about his son, Beau, and how his son, Beau, died. He said he died in Iraq on multiple different occasions, which is not true. Beau Biden died of brain cancer, which is tragic. But he manipulates all these different things to further this image of poor Joe, poor family man Joe. He's just out there trying to do the thing. But if you're doing that and you're exploiting the tragedies in your life for your own political gain, I think that makes you a horrible person.
The other thing about it, there's that possibility, and then the other part is he's just too old to know to realize that he's mixing it up.
Well, now he is, yeah.
Maybe. Hard to tell.
But that's been his whole career.
Yeah, it's not inconsistent with his fabrication stories, that the Johnny Carson thing, where Johnny Carson, I don't know if either of you guys commented about that, but Johnny Carson was covering back when he was in the Senate about how he was plagiarizing things, and Joe Biden goes to his staff and say, there's nothing, I just want you to know we have nothing to fear but fear itself.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that now.
I mean, Johnny Carson.
Yeah.
It's been happening for a minute.
Yeah.
And now you get to the point where what he has done in the past and been found guilty of, being dishonest for his own political gain, his own personal gain, has bled into his old age, which makes sense to a lot of people that they would misremember things. It's not uncommon. It's actually scientific. Which is the truth? I don't know. But I do know that neither one of those scenarios is good for the country. Let's take a quick break. More Annie Frey Show. We got the whole crew in here. Jim Carafano on with us at 1:05. There is a report out there that military recruiting is, no pun intended, tanking. And why could that possibly be? What needs to happen? I'm sure Jim Carafano has a thought on that. Plus, the idea of Ukraine and NATO and the president over there being a part of these conversations. Where does this land? Jim Carafano will give us all the details, as he always does at 1:05. More of this conversation and your Prime Day suggestions on what we should buy by the end of the show. Tweet them at us. I just retweeted at Annie Frey Show, where we have all of our Twitter handles up there. You can leave comments and replies after that. And we're going to buy something by the time the show is over. We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Follow Annie on Instagram at The Annie Frey Show.
You be the DJ, I'll be the driver. You put your feet up in the ghetto.
STS Armory, they're easy to find online at sts-armory.com. You can find them in person in Pontoon Beach. This family-owned and operated business will help you navigate your firearm purchase or your pursuit to be more educated, to be more responsible when you own your firearms, or, of course, in the state of Illinois, all of the hoops they have you jump through. You got to do it. That's how the legal system works in the state of Illinois. STS knows how to get you through all of them. They'll actually guide you through the process as well. If you need to get a FOID card, you go to STS Armory, they're going to help you apply for one. They're not going to judge you. They're going to be excited to work with you and make sure that you're in compliance with everything, and then navigate the process of making a firearm purchase for your ammunition, for your supplies and your accessories, for holsters, and for classes. Education that provides responsibility lessons for everybody in the household, everybody in the family, kids and teens. Firearm safety and education is incredibly important. Beginner classes, instructor level classes, advanced classes, drawing from concealment, all of these different ways to make sure that you are fully educated, including those conceal and carry classes that you need to qualify and get that licensure as well in the state of Illinois. Call them at 618-931-GUNS and ask your questions. 618-931-GUNS, online at sts-armory.com.
You need a home or commercial security system you can rely on, one that lets you know that the kids got home from school safely, alerts you to an emergency in your home or business, monitors your front porch, and can even manage your thermostat and lights. Reliant Security can do all of that and more. Hi, I'm Dave with Reliant Security, and we're based right here in St. Louis. When you need us, I'll take your call. I've worked for the big box security guys, and I wanted to do things differently, the right way. To protect your home, family, and business, you can rely on us. Visit us at secure-reliant.com.
Get ready for the Diamonds Direct Midsummer Savings Event. Starting Friday, you can take an extra 20% off virtually everything. Rings, earrings, bands, bracelets, and more. You get Diamonds Direct's already unbeatable price, plus an extra 20% off. Thousands of engagement mountings, fashion styles, and wedding bands included. Plus, acclaimed jewelry designers will be in store with an expanded selection. All the latest styles and trends, all on sale. You can't miss this. Diamonds Direct's sizzling summer store-wide sale. Starting Friday. Get details at diamondsdirect.com.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
This planet is so incredibly beautiful that I can't get enough of it. I did 950 miles on the Pacific Crest Trail, and Good Feet was with me all the way. Your passion's important, but if your body aches and if your heel feels like you've got a nail stuck in it and won't come out, trust me, it's going to wear you down. The Good Feet store knew what they were talking about and took the time to really dial in what I needed. I hiked 84 miles in the Himalaya and to do it pain-free. You think I'm not grateful for Good Feet?
Get ready for your summer adventures. Come to the Good Feet store today. Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations on Olive west of I-270 in the Plaza with Subway or in Shiloh, Illinois across from Deerbergs.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. You deserve comfort in your life. Come in for your free test walk today.
Ad paid for by Abadian and Totalian. COVID-19 was tough on businesses. If you experienced a negative impact to your business during the pandemic and have at least 5 W-2 employees, then you need to pay attention. There are some new powerful incentives that have been created specifically for businesses impacted by COVID-19. One such program is the Employee Retention Credit. Its tax incentive could bring you some serious cash back to your business. Even if you received a PPP loan in 2020 or 2021, you were still permitted to receive this credit. There are many ways to be eligible, and taking advantage of this tax credit doesn't need to be complicated. We made it easy for you by doing the legwork to maximize the amount of your refund due. Call us today at 800-874-1654 and we'll set your business up to take full advantage of the Employee Retention Tax Credit. That's 800-874-1654. Again, 800-874-1654. We'll get the ball rolling on getting you and your business some much-needed relief, but time is limited to file a claim. So call 800-874-1654.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Save up to 20% on a new HVAC system when you bundle it with attic insulation. 9 out of 10 homes are under-insulated. For a free estimate on attic insulation, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Keep it here for the real news. This is St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Mark Cox, Brian Kilmeade, Annie Frey, Mark Reardon, and Dana Lash on 97.1 FM Talk. The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Here's what I done, how I'm feeling about you. And every time we talk, every single word builds up to this moment. And I gotta convince myself I don't want it, even though I do. You could break my heart in two, but when it heals, it beats for you. I know it's forward, but it's true. I wanna hold you when I'm not supposed to, when I'm hiding close to someone else. You're stuck in my head and I can get you out of it. If I could do it all again, I know I'd go back to you.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. We are grateful for you to be here with us on this Tuesday afternoon. It's a pretty nice day outside. It's a good day in St. Louis, and we're glad you're sharing some of it with us. The YouTube live chat poll for today, if you're on the Annie Frey YouTube channel joining us there, what level of government gives you the greatest concern, local, state, and federal? Yesterday, we had Hogan Gidley on the show, and I'd encourage you to check that conversation on the podcast if you want to hear it. But when I asked him, at first we were talking about how the media, the narrative, which is what we were just discussing in this last segment, how big of a pie that narrative and coverage is. And the idea that truth and accountability, which is what the whole purpose of the media and the press is supposed to be able to hold the people who retain the power of the offices that they're serving in, to hold them accountable to what is true and what is real, to make sure that the purpose that they serve in that government office, which is representative of you, that they're actually adhering to the laws, the rules, the regulations that are in place, i.e. the Constitution that is in place, in order to make sure that the power is always retained with the people, which is you, that you are the epicenter of this entire experiment that the United States of America is participating in. And when I'm asking him, like, what hope do you have? Hogan Gidley's response is, go local. Know who's on your school board. Know who's on your county board. Know who's on your library board. Did you ever think that we would be talking this much about library boards? I'm going to be honest. A year ago, I don't really know if I knew that library boards existed as locally elected positions.
Yeah, they're a big fight now too, and the midterms showed that, because there were some local. I mean, I'm in Collinsville, and there was some fighting.
How did that turn out?
In Collinsville, actually went really well. What wasn't perfect, but it went really well. I've heard that other parts of Madison County weren't quite as good, though.
I don't think people take it super seriously. Local government as a whole, I don't think you take. 483 days from the election today, from the presidential election, and every day I have to try to push off the inclination to make the poll question about Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Every day. Everybody's going to be obsessed with that, and that's what the media wants. They want to make sure that everything that we do and talk about is keeping Donald Trump somewhere near the center of the headlines, protecting Joe Biden, and keeping you far, far away from caring about these local elections that actually will have a huge impact on how you live your life in your community. What level of government gives you the greatest concern? If you go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel, you will see there the poll is in the live chat portion. Ryan, what would your answer to this question be?
It would be federal, because I think it all kind of trickles down to all the other levels of government, because I think there's so many problems at that big level, whether it be federal government or the people involved with the federal government in D.C., that they push narratives that divide us so much that we end up having to fight those levels locally. So I think it all starts there.
What do you think, Hannah? What is it gives you the greatest concern is the question.
Concern, I'm going to say the same as Ryan with federal. I feel like the federal is the root, and there's so much that they do, that certain things that local government wants to try to fix, they can't do without the federal government also being involved.
What do you think, Brad?
Well, initially I was going to say local, but I think that we have a pretty good handle on our local governments, at least in my area we do. So I'm not really concerned with my local government.
You might feel it differently if you lived in St. Louis.
If I lived in St. Louis, it'd be different, but I don't. So for me, it's state. And I look at the state government because A, I live in Illinois, and holy cow, but B, whenever you read the Constitution, the Constitution enumerates the powers of the federal government. They say you deal with these things. And then it says everything on the outside of that is the purview of the states. That means that the states my state is closer to me than the federal government politically speaking, which means what they can do in my state will affect me faster. And then B, it has a vastly larger amount of powers that it can exact even over my local government that the federal government doesn't have the power to do. So that's why it's state for me.
My answer is absolutely 100% state. And if you understand what federalism is in the United States, and you understand the just exhaustive ways that our founding fathers put checks and balances on government everywhere, I live in Illinois. Everybody knows I live in Illinois, and everybody knows how I feel about that. And everybody keeps asking me, why do you still live in Illinois? Well, it's because there are some things that are more valuable than the property taxes that you pay or that they steal, or the ridiculous, far, far left progressive policies that Illinois is looking to lead the union in. There are some things that are more important, but not many things. The things that are more important to me are my family, and my family is in Illinois. And if I were to remove my family from being able to connect my children to my parents and my husband's parents, there's no amount of like lower taxes that's going to make me feel like this was absolutely the right decision. My kids don't need to see their grandparents. They need to understand that property taxes shouldn't be as high. I mean, that's when I say it that way, I hope it sounds ridiculous because it is. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to fight like hell to make Illinois a place that they want to stay so that their children can see their grandparents, which would be me. I need them to be able to stay around. And the state of Illinois is in such a state of disarray politically that it by far gives me the greatest concern. If I were somebody who was living in the city of St. Louis, I would be saying local, because the city of St. Louis is within the state of Missouri the way Illinois is within the Union of the United States of America. And that makes a difference on your location, which is why I really am looking forward to reading your comments, and Hannah's going to be starring them and highlighting them throughout the show. What level of government gives you the greatest concern? Local, state, and federal. Illinois, I'm really, really trying to key in and refine my thoughts and approach on where Illinois needs to go from here. Because the 2022 election, you guys can agree or disagree with this. There were some super conservative, principled people who ran across this country in races that were winnable, toss-ups, maybe a little stealable, but in a red wave, they go red. Not total Hail Mary shots to try to pick off a seat here and there, but ones that were leaning blue, but in a red wave year, they're going to go red. We didn't win those. And in the state of Illinois, I'm here to tell you this. If you think that you're going to run somebody who is the definition of strong, right-based constitutional conservatism in every possible way and doesn't understand the political makeup of a potentially purple district, they're not going to win. That sucks. So what do you do in a primary? Do you go to the person who's the most like you, or do we start thinking, how do we win this seat? Because in Illinois, everything we've tried before, to me, the last two cycles, the last two-year cycles, last cycle was, let's find the people who are the most Republican, the most, just check all the boxes and saying all the right things, but maybe not the best at politicking. They lost. Go 2 years earlier than that, the people who are running in that race are who the Chicago, this is how it would be phrased in conversation. It's like, if I'm talking to you in Southern Illinois, it's like, who does the Illinois Republican Party think an Illinois Republican is? That's who ran 2 years ago. They lost, which means to me that somebody has to fit the bill in between those ideas. You're going to have to find people who are principled, who understand policy, but who are going to focus on issues in the state of Illinois where we can get a win. You are not, in the state of Illinois, going to elect people, on a statewide election, which won't be in 2024 for us, it'll be in 2026. You are not going to elect people on a statewide hyper pro-life platform. It's not going to happen. You are not going to elect people in purple congressional districts on a super hyper social conservative platform. They're not going to win. So do you compromise yourself? Do you compromise what you stand for? Or do you just say, no, this is what I stand for. This is what I need in a candidate. And if we lose the seat, we lose the seat. That's a real question. I don't have the answer for you. There's no conclusion to that makes me go, that's it. That's what we do.
Because there is no game plan. We don't really know what does win. I think it has to be somebody you're talking about almost perfectly fits into the, yes, they're part of the system, for lack of a better word. They can work with the system. They can do the donor thing, but they're also super principled conservatives. That's going to be tough to find because in one case, you're talking about, hopefully, somebody who could turn out the base. And the other, you're talking about somebody who could maybe reach independence. And that's going to be tough.
There's an element of normalcy that has to be present. And the whole going back to what we've been talking about this entire hour, the whole idea of narrative and media coverage is to make the candidates seem as unlikable and inaccessible as they possibly can. And the gross thing about that, that's what a political campaign does. And you got to fight. If you're going to get in there, you got to fight. You got to know that's coming. You got to be ready to take the punch and throw it right back. But the media does it. They're not in the fight.
Yeah.
They're the ref in the fight. They're supposed to police the fight. They're supposed to come in and say, nope, that's bologna sausage. You're wrong on this. And here's why. A, B, C. This person's a liar. Here's how we can show you. And then when the other guy says something and they're wrong, the same police are supposed to say, no, that's bologna sausage. You're wrong. And this is why. X, Y, and Z. And then you, as an educated voter who's trying to pay attention and do the best you can, gets to sit there and make a decision. But we don't have that. We have political campaigners in the media who are only ever advocating for one side and have done so incredibly successfully in probably the past 20 years. George W. Bush, post 9/11, got a honeymoon period of bringing this country together. And I think he did a good job about that from where I sat as a 17-year-old kid. It's my experience. I understand there's a lot going on, but I'm not ashamed to say that. After that, though, man, we ripped apart pretty quickly. And the country still really is reeling from it. All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, are we getting any suggestions yet for Prime Day stuff? I've seen a lot on the chat.
Yes.
All right. It's Prime Day today and tomorrow. Brad, Hannah, Ryan, and I have committed to buy one thing at least on Prime Day by the end of the show, but we need your suggestions. So you can tweet at us. If you go to @AnnieFryShow, my current tweet right now has all of our handles in it. You can comment on that tweet and post some links of things that you think that maybe one of us might like to purchase. And by the end of the show, we'll tell you what we're going to buy or what we did buy. Stick around. Wiggins America and some ice cream when we come back.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
I know I'd go back to you.
Centric Security and Automation. Centric with a C. When you need to secure your business, you need Centric Security and Automation. They work on both sides of the river. They actually work around the country. They are the go-to when it comes to that security and automation that you need to protect your own, your IP, and your people. Businesses have a significant responsibility to safeguard their property and employees and the visitors that you might have in your office, in your building at any given time while you are overseeing your daily operations. Video surveillance is the way to do this, and Centric Security and Automation can help make that possible for you. If you have wiring in your business and maybe you're not using it, or you've got cameras up and they look like a deterrent, but maybe they don't work, actually, I won't tell anybody. When you reach out to Centric Security and Automation, they can often use that wiring already to replace it with functional security systems that are super simple to use, and they provide all the service you need. They stay with you through the process to make sure that your security is on lock. Centric Security and Automation, 314-442-6860, 314-442-6860, centricstl.com.
Are you nearing retirement or already retired and wondering how long your money will last? Are you also sick of worrying about losing your life savings in the next market crash? I'm Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw. As a family business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. Let us build your own personalized structured income plan, which will show you how much income you can receive in retirement, but more importantly, it will show you how long your money will last. Stop wondering if you have enough to retire comfortably.
Call us now at 314-993-9494 for a no-cost, no-obligation retirement review. We'll teach you the strategies you won't hear from your broker or banker. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. We've been helping our clients retire with confidence for the past 37 years. Let us help you. So go online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
I'm Jim Onder. Have questions after being injured in an accident? We'll match you with the Onder Law team that's right for you and your case.
Onder Law Personal Injury Lawyers. Visit getjim.com.
Tired of constantly caring for a home exterior that doesn't look as good as it should? You deserve beautiful, low-maintenance James Hardie fiber cement siding. James Hardie gives you gorgeous colors, stands up to Missouri's harsh weather, and lasts decades. At Lakeside Renovation and Design, we're experts in installing America's #1 siding. And our lifetime workmanship warranty gives you peace of mind. Get a lovely, lasting home exterior with Lakeside Renovation and Design. Request a free consultation at 636-978-5000. That's 636-978-5000. And love your home all over again.
Shakeups with who's in NATO. How's it going to affect the war in Ukraine? How's it going to affect our place in that war? That'll all be answered with Jim Carafano just after 1 o'clock. Coming up after the 1 o'clock hour. It is 12:46 right now. This time chalk.
Almost perfect.
Ryan.
This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
No.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
You could be watching this right now. Tune into the Annie Frey Show live stream. YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, Twitter. You know what? Just type in Annie Frey Show live stream. You're listening to the Annie Frey Show.
I don't know why. It doesn't even matter how hard.
Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
You want to try that again?
No. No, I don't. Actually, yes, I do. At 1:45.
At 1:45, we'll do it again.
Wiggins! Oh! Wiggins!
Try not to blow this one.
Yeah, we'll see.
That's what Hunter Biden said.
Or a White House staffer. We don't know.
Nobody knows. It's a mystery.
We will never know.
No.
All right.
Too
Well,
bad.
this story that I've pulled up here is actually related. I think I reported on this in a Wiggins America last week, and I'll start with that story. Here we go again.
Easy does it,
South
buddy.
Dakota Governor.
South what?
Sodak. South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem laid into uber woke ice cream brand Ben & Jerry's over the company's infamous now July 4th tweet in which it called for Mount Rushmore to be returned to Native Americans.
Is there anything about Kristi Noem that we don't like at all? Anything?
I can't really find it. I'm waiting for it.
Love her commercial where she's a dental assistant.
Oh, there's a series of those.
I know.
Yeah.
There's another one. Is she doing a car?
I think
is she a car mechanic?
She's a pipe fitter too in one of them or something.
I just love her.
Yeah.
She makes me happy.
Those are smart political ads because they're talking about how great her state is and how well it's run without actually campaigning for her.
But she also is believable in those commercials, like she's in on the joke.
Yeah.
It makes her look smart.
It does.
In a complicated way, but in a smart way.
Yeah, people that I've talked to who are in the political world and they know her, they say, man, she is super smart.
Yeah.
And I don't hear that about a lot of politicians.
It's a good thing you fixed your camera. Go on.
You're welcome. Anyway, it says Kristi Noem, who is a Republican, called the Ben & Jerry's bosses a bunch of liberal Vermont businessmen who haven't studied our history and think that they know everything about this country during an interview with Fox News on Thursday. And she called Mount Rushmore the greatest symbol of our freedom. So that was the dust up from last week.
Have you seen Mount Rushmore?
Yeah, I just went last year.
What, were you there yesterday? Or were you doing something else?
I was doing something else yesterday. I did not travel to
Not
the western part of South Dakota yesterday.
For any particular purpose?
No, I wasn't. I was out for a purpose, but it was not to visit South Dakota.
Yeah,
Hannah?
you went last year and you said you weren't impressed.
Oh my gosh.
That's not true.
Remember that?
I said that I had built it up too much, and to where I walked up and I was like, this is really neat, but I had just built it up.
But you're like, they
this
could have
walk
done
too much.
better.
Guys, I'm
Yeah.
confused. Are we talking about
That
what Ryan
mountain-
did last year or what he did yesterday?
No, we're talking about what I did last year right now.
Hannah, have
Okay.
you seen Mount Rushmore?
I have not. I
Brad?
would love to.
No, it's on my bucket list.
Neither have I.
Really?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, it really is
It's
neat.
too bad it was
and
so
it's-
disappointing for you,
No,
Ryan.
I think I said that I was expecting more, but it really is. So we went
What
twice.
more were you expecting? A larger mountain?
I don't know. I think it had it's so iconic that I had just built it up like it was going to be this experience, and it wasn't.
Do you think it was
going to
be spiritual?
Kinda.
Were you thinking you were Nicolas Cage?
Yeah, I was going to steal.
You waiting for the eagle to appear when the sun aligned?
I was going to steal just Lincoln.
Were you waiting?
Just his beard.
Yeah.
You're impressed by a flea market.
But we
and
went
you weren't
back-
impressed
No.
by Mount
Because my
Rushmore?
expectations are so
If
low.
you send him the biggest possible deal on Amazon Prime
Do it.
today that he does not need at all, he will be more impressed with that savings than he was Mount Rushmore.
That's not true because so we went back again later, and they have an evening, almost like a show, but it's not a planned show. They do some American anthems, some famous American songs, and then they call up anybody who's a veteran up to the front to stand with the flag in front of Mount Rushmore, and they do lights, and that was inspiring.
I'm glad I didn't assume that that's
Glad
what you
that
thought.
checked your box.
Yeah, Hey, it's my own fault. I said it. So.
Somebody find a Prime Day deal that has to do with Mount Rushmore.
No,
as a
don't,
nice
because I've already
momentum.
been to the gift shop and I've had everything that I could possibly want there.
Tweet us your suggestions.
So anyway, with Ben and Jerry's boycotting Mount Rushmore, basically telling Kristi Noem to return it to the indigenous peoples of western South Dakota. That being on July 4th, by the way. Since then, just to update you on that story, Unilever, which has owned Ben and Jerry's since 2000, has lost $2.6 billion in market capital. Just FYI.
You like Ben & Jerry's?
Yeah, I do.
Hannah?
I don't think I've ever had it.
Brad?
It's too expensive.
No, I'm not a big fan of Ben & Jerry's.
I was doing a keynote address at the Clay County, Illinois Lincoln Day dinner, which is, trying to remember, 2 hours and 15 minutes, 2 hours and 30 minutes, pretty much due east. And very grateful to be invited out to do that. It was a really great experience. And we were coming back and we were going through the country and there was no signal. So we were just we were on the phone with my mom who was navigating us because she could see I share my location. She was driving us back. And all we wanted was some ice cream on the way home. I don't usually eat if I'm going to speak. So I was kind of hungry and was like, let's forego dinner. Let's just grab some ice cream on the way home. It was too country to make that happen. We finally get back to like a Love's on the side of a highway. And I go in there and I went into the bathroom because they have nice bathrooms at a Love's truck stop. And I changed clothes into something more comfortable because I was still in my dress from the event. And it came out and there was a freezer right there of pints of ice cream. And it was Ben & Jerry's. And I stared at it. I'm like, I'm not supposed to eat Ben & Jerry's. I just drove 2.5 hours to give a strong, conservative, principled message. And I really want ice cream, and I'm not supposed to eat Ben & Jerry's. I was like, you know what? It's 1 pint of ice cream. I'm going to eat it. And I opened the door, and whose face is on this ice cream but Colbert's face?
Oh,
and I'm like, forget you! And I closed the door, and I didn't eat that ice cream. And I promised to never eat that ice cream again. And then when we were in McAllen, Texas, I was still hungry at night. And they had
Did
Ben
it?
& Jerry's there, so I had some cookie dough ice cream.
Oh, that's a recent story.
Ben & Jerry's has ice cream, has Stephen Colbert ice cream, and Jimmy Fallon
I
ice
wonder
cream.
what flavor that is.
I don't know. I didn't have that. I wouldn't eat that.
Just to clarify, I do think it tastes good. I don't ever buy it either, but mainly for the reasons Hannah said.
So expensive.
It's just expensive. I don't get it.
Yeah, but if it's Ben & Jerry's only enters my life when it's the only option. I don't know why that is.
No, I get it. But anyway, now that you're all caught up and you know Ben & Jerry's is a very leftist organization, apparently, here's the news. Ben & Jerry's co-founder, Ben Cohen, was arrested in Washington, D.C. Thursday in a protest in support of WikiLeaks publisher Julian Assange. So he and apparently this group called Code Pink, I think we've talked about them before, another very far
As
left
little as
feminist
possible.
activist group. they were arrested in support of Julian Assange. And the question I have, just if we can in a minute here, where is the line between leftist and liberal? Because there is a difference between the two.
Well, it's about your activism, I think.
Because this, to me, is traditional liberal.
Oh, sure. If you're going to use liberal in that sense. Traditional liberals are libertarians of today.
Mm-hmm.
Classical liberals.
Right.
Is the phrase. Get the government the heck out of the way.
Yes.
Stop coming in and telling me what I'm supposed to do in the bedroom, or like how I'm supposed to live my life, or how I'm supposed to parent my kids, or what kind of medical care I'm supposed to provide myself. I'm running out of time here, but the list goes on.
Right.
Classical liberalism doesn't say I'm anti-vaccine. It doesn't say I'm pro-vaccine. It says I don't care what you are. Do what you got to do for you. And when it's about, whether you want to take a classical liberalism when it comes to drag queen story hour, what you do with your kids, says you take care of your kids. You can parent your kids the way you feel they need to be parented. And I'm going to parent my kids the way I'm parented. And if I feel like that's a bad thing for my kids, I'm going to be able to say it and you're going to be able to go to it.
Based on what we were just talking about in the last segment, it sounds like what we're saying is classical liberalism tries to remain neutral, tries to say, I'm a referee.
From the government.
Yeah.
Not from a position. From the government. From somebody coming in. The us and them is not red and blue. Ever, folks. It's not Republican, Democrat. The us and them is over-bloated government coming in to us to tell us how to live our lives. That is un-American. Jim Carafano on the Annie Frey Show in a minute.
Doesn't even matter how hard you try. Keep that in mind. Our design is rhyme to remind.
Are you suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE? The medical providers at Paramount Men's Medical Center offer breakthrough treatments that eliminate problems in the bedroom without pain or surgery. 98% of men see instant results on their first office visit. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Paramount Men's Medical Center offers breakthrough medical treatments that eliminate ED and PE. Men are even lasting 90 minutes or longer, regardless of age or medical history.
But that's not all. For a limited time only, call Paramount Men's Medical Center now and your initial consultation and first treatment are completely free. You'll see instant results right in the office. You'll even get a gift that enhances your performance in the bedroom. All this, worth hundreds of dollars, is free if you call now. 314-720-8081. 314-720-8081. That's 314-720-8081.
At Fountains Family Dentistry, they can help you determine whether you have gotten a CPAP and you don't really need one, or whether you are in that category of people who've never used anything like that, and a sleep mouth guard would be perfect for you. This is Ryan Wiggins talking about Fountains Family Dentistry in Fairview Heights, Illinois. They are great at helping you walk through this process, because if you've heard me or really anybody talking about these sleep apnea mouth guards, they might sound like they're kind of a big deal. You don't really know, do I have sleep apnea? Do I not? If I have a CPAP, can this be my alternative? Well, they can walk you through that process and give you the facts and the insurance information and everything along the way. And it's so much easier than it sounds, because it does sound like such a big deal, adding another thing to your plate, but it solves so many other issues. If you're not sleeping, you're having other health problems, this can solve so many of them. It really is worth your time. So check them out. They're at fountainsfamilydentistry.com. They're in Fairview Heights, Illinois. fountainsfamilydentistry.com.
Ad paid for by Abadian and Totalian. COVID-19 was tough on businesses. If you experienced a negative impact to your business during the pandemic and have at least 5 W-2 employees, then you need to pay attention. There are some new powerful incentives that have been created specifically for businesses impacted by COVID-19. One such program is the Employee Retention Credit. Its tax incentive could bring you some serious cash back to your business. Even if you received a PPP loan in 2020 or 2021, you were still permitted to receive this credit. There are many ways to be eligible, and taking advantage of this tax credit doesn't need to be complicated. We made it easy for you by doing the legwork to maximize the amount of your refund due. Call us today at 800-874-1654 and we'll set your business up to take full advantage of the Employee Retention Tax Credit. That's 800-874-1654. Again, 800-874-1654. We'll get the ball rolling on getting you and your business some much-needed relief, but time is limited to file a claim. So call 800-874-1654.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio, 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
A plan to bolster NATO. I'm Rich Dennison, Fox News. President Biden taking part in the NATO summit in Lithuania, where leaders of the military alliance are looking to expand their roster of nations. The president and NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg praising the organization.
And say things are going to get a lot better now that Turkey's leader says he's going to take steps very soon to allow Sweden to join the NATO alliance.
Adding Finland and Sweden to NATO is consequential.
And he will speak tomorrow about the U.S. and our allies' efforts to support Ukraine, as well as meet one-on-one with Ukrainian President Zelensky. And while the U.S. remains a staunch supporter of Ukraine in its war against Russia, the Biden administration says it still does not believe Ukraine is ready to join NATO, at least at this point.
Fox's Mark Meredith. Some NATO members feel admitting Ukraine now could draw the alliance into a war with Russia. A storm that's left up to 2 months' worth of rain in Vermont and saturated other parts of the Northeast is moving out, but more flooding is expected. Floodwaters have cut off access to Vermont's capital city of Montpelier and other towns. One person in New York's Hudson Valley died during flash flooding. One of the authors of a paper on the origins of COVID-19 telling a House panel today the theory that the virus emerged from a laboratory is not plausible.
The virus itself looks to be a clear product of natural selection and not actual engineering.
Dr. Christian Anderson, Republican members of the House Select Committee on the Coronavirus Pandemic, accuse Dr. Anthony Fauci and others of discrediting the lab origin theory. Former President Trump's legal team is asking a Florida federal judge to delay the criminal trial in the classified documents case against him until after the 2024 elections. He's already pleaded not guilty to 37 felony criminal charges related to documents recovered from his Florida resort. America is listening to Fox News.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. At ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/FREE. ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The steam bath is back across town, partly to mostly sunny skies. Hot temperatures this afternoon, very humid, 95. Tonight, partly cloudy, 90s this evening. A ton of humidity, 72. Wednesday, changeable skies, looking for 1, maybe 2 rounds of strong to severe thunderstorms Wednesday afternoon into Wednesday evening. Let's really pay attention to the sky. This is 97.1 FM Talk, Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
If you're looking for a home in the state of Illinois, you need Jen Teskey. You need the whole Jen Teskey team with RE/MAX Alliance. She is the best. She is incredibly fun. You don't need your realtor to be fun. It's just a perk of the business. She is just somebody who you're going to want. You're going to be sad when the transaction is over because you're not going to get to see her anymore. And her amazing team, they're all fantastic. They work so hard. They go the extra mile for all of their clients. When you're buying and selling a home, you want Jen Teskey and a team like hers to help make sure that you can work in this really competitive environment, get the price that you're looking for, maybe even more, and to get the job done in the timeline that you need it. If you've been thinking about selling your home, don't put off a conversation, a simple conversation with Jen Teskey and her team any longer. It doesn't mean that you have to have a timeline or a set date when you need to sell by, although they'll absolutely take that phone call as well. If you're thinking about in the future and you're not really sure of what you've heard with the market and you're not ready to do it right now, but you know that it's in your future, Jen Teskey will take your call and be so glad to meet you along with her team at RE/MAX Alliance. 618-541-1010. Call Jen at 618-541-1010. JenTeskeyHomes.com.
Did you know the IRS is a super creditor? Hi, I'm Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. The IRS is the only creditor that can create a bill for you without your permission, then drop the hammer and aggressively collect it by wiping out your bank account, seizing your assets, and levying your wages. No other creditor can do that, and this can all happen without a court approval. If you owe back taxes, you need to be prepared to face the super creditor. Don't just sit back and take it. Fight back. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, we know how to use the laws to your advantage and go toe-to-toe with the IRS. Our office is located right here in St. Louis. Contact the Lance Drury Law Firm today for a free consultation with me, or visit us at lancedrurylaw.com or call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120 to get started.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Refresh, restore, and protect your investment. Call Zero Res to clean your business the right way so your floors and surfaces stay cleaner longer without the harmful chemicals the other guys use. Call 314-474-2020. Ask for the Mark Reardon special or book online at ZeroResSTL.com. You spell it backward or forward, it spells the same. Zero Res.
This is Dan McLaughlin, inviting you to the 21st Annual Dan McLaughlin Golf Tournament to benefit the Special Education Foundation. This tournament has raised over $5 million, and 100% of the money raised has gone to children with special needs in our community. To sponsor, volunteer, or to play in the event on October 9th at Norwood Hills Country Club, please visit sef-stl.org. I'll see you on October 9th at Norwood Hills Country Club.
If you're a fan of 97.1, get a t-shirt. Visit 971talk.com/merch to see all the new t-shirt designs and show your support for St. Louis's home for conservative talk. 97.1 FM Talk.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof, Frederick Roofing.
Over 90,000 satisfied customers since 1929. Frederick Roofing, 314-645-2000.
This hour of the Annie Frey Show is brought to you by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
What will it take, for the administration's point of view, for Ukraine to be ready? I know I've heard you all say when the war is over. Is that it?
So we're committed to what's called NATO's open door, to welcoming new members when they're ready for membership and when all of the allies agree to invite them in. Ukraine has made good progress in that direction, and that's going to be reflected at the summit. At the same time, the Ukrainians and others are the first to acknowledge that they have more work to do, continuing to reform their military, continuing to deepen democratic reforms. You're going to see that come out of the summit as well. The bottom line is this. Here in Vilnius, a really robust package of support for Ukraine. Political support, practical support, and further progress down the road toward membership in NATO.
Jim Carafano.
These are dangerous times.
Vice President for Foreign and Security Policy at Heritage.
Yeah, they are dangerous times. Jim Carafano, it's who we go to talk about them. Jim, welcome back to the show. Good to have you.
Yeah, this is super easy to explain to people. NATO is an alliance of countries that got together to deter war, not join a war. So if you're asking NATO to join in with a country that's in an ongoing conflict, you're actually asking it to do something that is the opposite of what's the fundamental purpose of the charter of the alliance. So I don't know where, and when people say, well, when can Ukraine join? I mean, the answer is really simple. It's when the fighting stops, Ukraine can join NATO. And then once they join, the Russians won't dare attack them again. It's just that simple.
When we're watching this war continue to move on. I remember when the invasion first happened and it was like, are we going to have the full conflict? Of course, yes, we did have the full conflict. And then folks like you would come on the show and be like, this is going to last for a little bit. This is not going to be something that is going to wrap up really easily. We continue to send money over there. And you've commented on the money and the funds and the products that we've sent overseas to Ukraine to help them defend themselves. It looks like we're going to do that again here soon. What are your thoughts?
Well, if you add in the damage that the Russian army has done to itself in beating itself against a wall in Ukraine, and the addition of Finland and Sweden to NATO, which, let's be honest, occurred because Russia attacked Ukraine, Russia's probably, if you add those two things together, Russia's probably a decade away from actually ever being able to seriously threaten NATO with a conventional invasion again. That, if you add the money that we gave in support to Ukraine, creating that condition is probably one of the most efficient uses of U.S. military spending money that we've ever done, to be honest about it. The requirements that we're going to have to commit to NATO over the next decade are going to be significantly lower because of what we've achieved here. And the price for buying that down is attention and resources and funds that we can then put to other parts of the world where we're trying to deter China. So yeah, actually, in the end, this turned out to be a good deal for us at a very reasonable price. Now, here's the ringer on this, because before people start giving Joe Biden a ticker tape parade, if Biden had rushed aid to Ukraine, which, by the way, I think Donald Trump would have done when the Russians first threatened, or Biden had given Ukraine the aid it needed at the beginning of the war, 44 million people would not have to be at risk. Millions of people wouldn't have had to fled their country. 20% of their country wouldn't have to be occupied, and the GDP of Ukraine wouldn't have had to be destroyed. So we are, to be honest with you, lucky we got the positive outcome we had. But, and here's the other thing I'll remind people of: does NATO work? Does it actually deliver peace and tranquility to the transatlantic community? My response is, you betcha. Because if Russia didn't fear NATO, they would be bombing Warsaw and Poland and Romania and other countries which are providing support to Ukraine, because that's what's keeping them from winning the war. But they're not doing that. And the reason is very simple: because they're afraid of NATO. Mm-hmm. So NATO works, and it accomplishes exactly what we pay it to do, which is to secure the peace and tranquility of the transatlantic community, so then we can focus on problems like China.
We're speaking with Jim Carafano. He's the Vice President for Foreign and Security Policy at the Heritage Foundation. Now, there are some other foreign and security policy experts out there, like the ladies on The View, who say if Donald Trump gets elected, he's going to pull us out of NATO. Is that a real accusation by the ladies from The View, who I'm sure are just steeped in knowledge about these types of things? Is Donald Trump, would he take us out of NATO?
No, all the left, they get their wacko talking points, like immigration at the border is seasonal, and then they just spout them like they know, and the reality is, I had this conversation in Europe because I got told this the other day. Well, a Republican president's got to pull out of NATO. I said, well, okay, let me get this straight. We have had 5 post-Cold War presidents, Republican and Democrat, different parties, very different temperaments. Nobody, including Donald Trump, has ever pulled out of NATO. So there's, no precedent for that. So obviously, NATO is a post-Cold War priority for the United States because we've demonstrated that for many decades. I was on the Donald Trump transition team. There was no plan to pull out of NATO. I worked with the Trump people the 4 years that they were in office. They had no plan to pull out of NATO. And everybody said, oh, yes, but if Trump gets reelected, they'll pull out of NATO. Well, you know what? I knew what the plan was for the second term for the Trump administration. There was no plan to pull out of NATO. The Republican leadership has been very clear on this. In the Senate and the House, there was no plan to pull out of NATO. I've talked to the serious people connected with every major Republican campaign in the United States of America, and you know what? There's no plan to pull out of NATO. So I don't know where the plan that Republicans are axiomatically got to pull out of NATO comes from when you cannot actually find anybody who is in a major conservative leadership position in this country who believes that that's going to happen. But yet the left is absolutely, and I've been to these conferences. I cannot tell how many conferences they stand and go, well, if Trump's elected, or if Republicans elected, they're going to pull out of NATO. It's like, where does that come from? And I was in Korea, and somebody stood up and said, well, if Trump's elected or Republicans elected president, they're going to pull out of Korea. And that wasn't in the plan either. So I don't know where they make this stuff up in their head.
Yeah.
And they expect people to just believe them. And we do, because we see it on CNN. And they go, of course it must be true. It's on CNN.
Well, speak to the policy, I guess, angle. When people ask Donald Trump, who's been there before, he's done 4 years of negotiating. Right. He's had his own national security and foreign policy plans. But people will interview him and say, what would you say to Putin, or what would you do in Ukraine? And he most often repeats, I'm not going to tell you, because if I tell you, then I'm going to box myself in. Is that smart policy and politics?
Look, what Russia and Iran and China all have in common is they watch what we do, not what we say. The reason why Russia invaded Ukraine was because they saw Joe Biden run away from Afghanistan, and they thought, well, if he's going to run away from Afghanistan, he'll probably run away from Ukraine, and he would have if Ukraine hadn't fought. What Donald Trump is, and whether it was with the Chinese or the Iranians or the Russians, in every instance, he showed them he was tough and willing to defend his interests, whether it was killing Soleimani or calling in the cruise missile strike on Syria when the Chinese were visiting Mar-a-Lago, or obliterating the Russian mercenaries in Syria. And every time they got the message. Matter of fact, after Trump killed Soleimani, the Iranians called up the U.S. and they said, look, this is deeply humiliating for us. What we're going to do is we're going to launch a bunch of missiles into the desert. We swear to God, we're not going to kill anybody. And then we're going to be done. Like, please don't attack us, right? We know that if we actually tried to attack you in retaliation for Soleimani, you would destroy us. We don't want to go there. So please just don't do that. And then we promise we'll be quiet after that. They fear Donald Trump. They don't fear Joe Biden.
Yeah. Jim Carafano with us, and he's with the Heritage Foundation. I heard the president make a comment about how we couldn't provide a certain kind of ammunition or something to Ukraine because we were low on that. It's not really reassuring for someone of my very lacking stature to understand what that means.
Our president's an idiot. He said a lot. He said, well, Ukraine can join NATO because they're ready to join. It's the most combat experience, actually the strongest military in Western Europe. Of course they're ready to join NATO, you yahoo. The only reason why they can't join NATO is because they're in a war. We had, we've got this munition called DPICM. It's just basically an artillery round that puts out little bomblets. I dealt with it for my entire time in the Army because I was in the artillery. Incredibly efficient. We have tons of them. We stockpiled masses of them during the Cold War. And the reason why we actually have so many is Obama, because he wanted to placate the leftist crowd. Oh, we won't use landmines, I promise. Told the Army they couldn't use them. And, of course, Trump didn't have any wars, so there wasn't any occasion to use them. So these things have been sitting in warehouses for years. So here we have a massive amount of munition that would be perfectly effective for the Ukrainians, perfectly legal. We should be expending that. But it's taken Biden 500 days of war to get around to doing that. So you can't listen to the President of the United States and think you're going to hear common sense. And you know what? Sometimes you hear crazy stuff from Trump, too. But the difference is I could look at Trump and see his actions and say, okay, I understand what he's doing. Biden, I understand what he's doing. He's very risk averse. He has essentially, the only reason why he's fighting in Ukraine is because no president wants to be the guy that lost a war. And so that's why he's committed. He's tried to essentially talk the Chinese into being nice until after the election. He's tried to bribe the Iranians into being nice after the election. He's just trying to put foreign policy on the back burner till the election's over. And what does that tell you? It tells you that this president is much more interested about putting himself and his politics ahead of the national interests of this country. And it's not about fighting forever wars, and it's not about being isolationist. It's about standing up for the country, and your friends and enemies will respect that. Trump did that. Biden did not.
Jim Carafano, before we let you go, I've heard also that military recruitment is down, and it's not like you're going to look around the country right now and we're like, everything's peacetime, everything is hunky-dory across the world. There's a lot that is to be defended on the home front and globally. Why are people not easily recruited right now to serve in our military?
Well, I was in the military for 20 years. People join and stay in the military because they feel they need to serve and they think they're doing something important. If you think about it, after 9/11, and when we were active in the war and young people were fighting and dying, recruiting was the least of the problems. People were lining up to get recruited. People are not joining up today for one simple reason. It's because of all the woke junk. It's because that people believe that they're serving a president who thinks it's more important that the military be battling climate change than America's enemies, and it's more important that we have diversity in the workplace and transgender people in the military than we actually support our men and women actually defending themselves. And so they want no part of this. If you hear that, in the academies they lecture people not to call their parents mom and dad. You think that's something that endears you to want to serve in this president's military? And we did polling on this. It's on our. We had a big independent panel look at this, and the reports on our heritage.org, and we polled on this. And this is what's killing the military. In addition to the fact that 70% of American youth aren't qualified for military service. We get that, but the 30% that are love serving this and have always been willing to serve this country. And our army's not that big. We have a couple of million people in the entire military. But we have plenty of workforce to fill that out. People don't want to be woke. And why should I put on a uniform and risk my life when I'm fighting for a gay pride flag and a drag queen happy hour at the Officer Club?
Jim Carafano, we love having you on the show. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you, my friend.
Yep, you as well. Bye-bye. Hope those cops aren't coming for him. Good to have him here as always. He's the vice president for foreign and security policy at the Heritage Foundation and very graciously gives us a little bit of his time each Tuesday afternoon. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to get an update. I think we've got a few suggestions coming in. I saw some on Twitter. Wow. Today's Prime Day, Amazon Prime Day. Tomorrow's Prime Day as well. Brad, Ryan, Hannah, and I have all committed to buy one thing off of Prime Day before the show is over. And we are taking your suggestions. Maybe you can persuade us a little bit. Go to @AnnieFryShow and you'll see all of our Twitter handles and my top tweet right there. Tweet us your suggestions. We'll be back in a minute. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @AnnieFryShow.
If you're worried about losing your nest egg, everything that you've built while you've been busting your butt trying to provide yourself a retirement of your dreams, there's no reason to limit it. The fantasy retirement of your dreams where you travel, where you're going to the ocean and to the mountains and camping and RVing and visiting the grandkids and just taking some time for yourself. Everything that is in your retirement that you've worked hard for, you deserve it. You need to make sure it's protected. Thomas Helbig, Bob Kershaw, and Tammy Kershaw. This family-owned and operated business of the Retirement Advisory Group will help make this a possibility for you. You call them at 314-993-9494, and you're going to set up a no-cost, no-obligation retirement review where you say, this is where I am, and they tell you this is how we can help you. We can provide you that exhale that makes it worry-free to enter retirement and into that dream that you've been building for yourself over the last decades. 314-993-9494. You can find them online right now and learn more at retirementkey.com.
We expect our information in real time. U.S. Med carries continuous glucose monitors, which provide real-time readings of blood glucose levels. U.S. Med is an approved provider for Medicare and over 500 private insurers. So call 800-730-8405 today for a free insurance and Medicare benefits check. As easy as, that's 800-730-8405.
You can host the best backyard barbecue when you find a professional on Angie to make your backyard the best around. Connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. Inside to outside, repairs to renovations. Get started on the Angie app or visit Angie.com today. You can do this when you Angie that.
Hi, this is Brian with Velocity Home Buyers, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 314-782-3333. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition and any price range in the St. Louis area. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that needs updating, but you don't have the time or money for it? Great, because I love buying outdated houses. I buy vacant houses, job relocation houses, and foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 314-782-3333. That's 314-782-3333.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-777-1979. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-777-1979. That's 800-777-1979. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-777-1979. 800-777-1979.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. If you haven't had your AC system checked, you're spending more money than you need to this summer to stay cool. Schedule your AC system check for as little as $15 a month. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
The Mark Reardon Show.
I am taking Monday off to lose some golf balls in a tournament. Mike Elam pinch hitting. I'm back on Tuesday.
Weekdays from 3 to 6. The Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk. The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Getting some wild suggestions from you people as to what we should buy on Prime Day. We're going to buy something. We promised to buy something, anything, by the end of the show. Ryan, what you were talking about, something that you were looking at purchasing.
So someone called Never Forget the 22 has suggested a few different items. Now, they're all related, but they're in this general vicinity of Viking beard beanie horn hat, winter warm mask knitted. I guess these are not just costumes. They're for a practical purpose in the winter. They keep you warm, but they make you look like a Viking.
More than you already do? Really?
Yeah, I know. I kind of have I give off a manly vibe. I don't look like a Viking, but people feel that. Creative barbarian knit beard hat, funny knit hat wig.
What is it, Ryan, that you emanate that gives people the Viking vibe about Ryan Wiggins?
It's two things. It's testosterone and it's muscles. And then the third thing is something that if you want to suggest this, again, I'm kind of taking suggestions right now, is muscle oil. It's that oil that muscly people use to rub on themselves to make them look even musclier. And I don't use that. I'm just more of an au natural.
You just have this
muscle.
natural sheen?
Yes. Yeah. If I start, here's the problem: is if I start lifting something outside,
that's the meat sweats.
When people are like, "Oh man, I need somebody to come over and pick up all these timbers, these big railroad timbers," I'll do it, but then I glisten, and it gets embarrassing because I can't do it with my shirt on. We all know that.
I've got it up on the Annie Frey YouTube channel if you want to join us there and make your suggestions. You got to tweet them at us, or I guess you could put the comments in the YouTube. We're trying to collect them all from all the different places. But this is if you wore this, nobody would know you weren't a Viking.
That's true. The problem with this is that
look at his eyelashes.
It's only 20% off. When I think Black Friday or Amazon Prime Day, I think 50% minimum. So if you're going to give me a deal, give me on something completely worthless, give me a deal.
That's not worthless.
Well, this could keep you warm.
This
I'll
would
give
keep
him
you
that.
nice and
that
cozy.
will definitely keep you
I
warm.
will give you that. It's not easy to transport, I wouldn't think, though.
Like you wouldn't have to wear a scarf. Your head
lot
would
of
be
beard.
warm.
Oh, this is a Minnesota Viking. It's purple and yellow.
Somebody else suggested.
I'm gonna be honest. This purple and yellow thing with the horns, like the helmet and the purple beard with the yellow accents. If they made one of these that was like St. Louis Rams, if they were still here,
Oh, for sure.
I would totally wear that outside at a football game.
See, the horns thing, I'm not sure, but I like the beard thing. But if I wear the horns, I gotta storm the Capitol.
What? No, you don't.
Carlos
False.
suggested.
Now we're gonna get reported.
Carlos suggested that I get a self-tanning bundle. I don't appreciate that. The other thing is fun.
Has
That
your
one's
wife
not.
used the self tanner?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know.
What do you mean? Aren't you complimenting her when she looks beautiful?
Well, she always looks beautiful, so it's like, oh, another day.
He's been married for a while.
Yeah, exactly.
You didn't even take a breath, man.
No,
well
no.
done.
Yeah,
When's the last
know
time you
the
got her
rules.
flowers for no reason?
Probably when you told me to.
I didn't know. You got her flowers one time for no reason without me saying anything.
Did I?
And
I
then
don't
she was
remember
like,
anymore.
"Did they tell you to do this?" And you're like, "No." You said we ruined
Yeah,
it.
it really has ruined it because even if I say, no, they didn't tell me, she doesn't believe me. She thinks, oh, this happened on the show, so you're getting me flowers now. But I think you're right. I think I did. I don't remember why. I think it was
because
it
you
was
love
no
her
reason.
and
Yeah.
she's beautiful, which is the no reason part.
Which is why I always tell her, don't take this self-tanning thing that Annie gave me. You don't need it. And she's like,
And
well,
she's like, give it to me.
it's in the bathroom. so.
Here's the thing, though, and I know you guys know this, but she's probably not doing the self tanner for you. She's doing it for her.
I don't know because I really don't know. I genuinely do not know if she's using it or not. If she comes out of the bathroom and she's 3 shades darker, then I'll know, but I just don't know. So she may be using it. She's just good at it. Isn't that the point of it? Is that you wear it and you don't know? Because it wasn't when I wore it. You knew when I had it on.
Will you just keep talking if I don't?
I'm asking you a question.
Yes and no. Here's the thing: when this is the plight that women have to deal with that men don't. You look that way every day, in your muscly sheen.
It's just who I am.
I know it's a burden, isn't it?
No, it's kind of fun,
You
actually.
kind of like it.
Yeah, I like it.
If I walked into this studio and I had no makeup on, everybody who sees me from the front door to here would ask me if I'm okay.
Except for me and Brad.
Yeah, because you learned.
We wouldn't.
You
We would know.
You would go, she's not okay.
We would be whispering to each other.
really wrong here.
Yeah. And can you take off your headphones for a second? Brad, don't say anything to Annie.
I can still hear you in the room if I don't have my headphones on. That only work in one ear. If women are a little more pale, if you're in your winter skin as
okay.
opposed to your summer swimsuit exposed skin, if you were to tan in, say, January, you might notice it more. But most people, if you do it and you do it well, most people will be like, they would tell you that you look nice today or something that is completely innocuous. They don't really understand. But it's just basically like, as a woman, and listen, this is the game. I didn't write the rules. I didn't make the genetic code. It's science. It's not the science. It's science. When you do something like that and you put your makeup on after you've maybe had it off, or if you tan people and you say, oh, you look nice today, you're just thinking, I guess I didn't look nice yesterday when I didn't have a tan.
Oh, yeah?
That's just the way it goes.
Ooh.
So you have to maintain. Whatever you do, you have to maintain.
And also, in light of that, we guys are in a terrible situation.
Yes.
We can't win.
Hold on a second. Before you go on, there is zero chance I have any pity or sorrow for you at all.
We
go
don't.
on.
We don't need your pity. We just
That's funny because you're always
because we
asking
wear it
for
well. We strive to do the best all
your
the time, right, Brad?
fake muscle suit.
And
I don't know if strive to do the
zips
best
up
or
the
just
back.
are in a perpetual state of confusion. It's like, I don't know what to do here.
yeah, very equal things too.
See, this is perfectly helpful, Dan. Thank you. He said, Annie, on those days without makeup, just identify as a dude. Wow! Thank you.
Can you do that day by day? Where just one day you're like, I'm a guy
Identify as
today.
a man?
Yeah, I'm a guy today.
You answer that question for me. Can I?
You would never pass for a man.
Survey says
Thank you,
yes.
Brad.
Survey says you can.
You're in.
Legally speaking,
What?
I think you could walk into any institution
And
anytime.
pass as a man?
No, not pass as a man. Just say you are. I think you could just say.
And you think people would be like, looks like a dude to me?
No. I think they would be like, I think that's a woman.
I think?
I think they'd be pretty sure that you were actually a woman. Yeah. See what I mean? Brad, this is proving my point.
No, this is the dumbest thing you've ever
No.
said.
Don't drag me into this one because I figured it out right
Look,
away.
I'm trying to say nice things. I'm
No,
trying
you're
to be
not.
super open about gender fluidity.
Your initial question to me was, do you do that on the daily? Do you just pick which gender you want to identify every day? That was your first question to me, as if that was a possibility.
It wasn't just to you. It was really anybody. Can anybody just choose?
Do you?
You. Yeah,
No,
you.
you.
The royal you.
Do you? I'm specifically asking Ryan Wiggins. Do you just get up one day and go, I think I'm going to pass as a female today?
No, but I do affirm my gender identity every day in that I am a man and a hardcore one. When I get up and look in the mirror, and in fact, I don't have to get up because there's one on my ceiling. When I look up.
What?
When I look up at the mirror.
He just
every
slides
morning,
that right in there, doesn't he?
I go, now there's a man. I couldn't get it out. Can you imagine somebody who wakes up every day?
Yes, I
looks at
can.
the
You
mirror,
would do that. My children are listening right now.
looks at the mirror on their ceiling and goes, yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Schmei and Wiggins.
I'm having a good time. How you guys doing? Good? It's Prime Day. The floor is yours.
It's always mine.
Yeah, it is. You don't need
Do you have
my
mirrors on the-
permission.
do you have mirrors on the floor in your bedroom too, just in case you need a...
That'd be gross and weird.
Yeah, that would be weird. For the record, I always identify and present myself as the woman that I am.
Great. It's good to know. But as a man, we can never
I wouldn't
affirm
know.
anybody's looks who identifies as female, because then they would think something like, oh, I must look good today. Must look like crap every other day. We're in a no-win situation. Brad does agree with me on that. Don't say anything, Brad. Just agree. Hannah? If I said to you or Hannah,
I love how people in the comments are going, you're the only one talking. And the people in the comments are like, I'm on Ryan's side. Oh, maybe not anymore. They've gone back and forth 6 times. Based only on things you keep saying.
if you're listening to this on the podcast, please stream it live back, because then you'll see it in real time.
You know how
it's
some
changing.
of the radio stations in St. Louis, they play like really palatable things for people to play in their businesses
Yeah, we're not that.
so that it's like palatable for everyone and it makes you feel comfortable and cozy. Can you imagine a business having this on in their... Nope.
There is somebody somewhere in the St. Louis metropolitan area right now walking around in a flea market where this is playing in the speakers, and they're going, what the heck is this?
This is KMOX. Leave us alone.
I could think of a specific person with a specific restaurant who is in his restaurant right now going, Ryan
And it's on my side.
is on Annie's side and going,
Yeah.
Ryan, what are you doing? And he knows who I'm talking about right now.
It would do me the greatest honor if when we go to the break, you don't tell Ryan who you're talking about.
I won't.
Is it somebody I know?
No, I don't know if you know him.
Is it Annie's dad?
Nope.
No, he still likes you.
Okay, good.
It's
Annie's
awful.
dad has a restaurant.
That's probably how he feels at his house. All right, let's take a quick break. More suggestions from your Prime Day finds. We need big savings on things that we should buy, and we're going to buy something by the end of the show. I think one of us might have already made a purchase, but that doesn't mean it'll be our only purchase. More Annie Frey Show right here on 97.1 FM Talk when we return.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
The Diamond Shop, online at thediamondshop.net. They're having a special event July 20th. Put it on your calendar. It's the Diamonds and Doggies event. This is going to be so great. Thursday, July 20th from 5 to 7:30 p.m., The Diamond Shop is partnering with the APA for a pet adoption event. When you shop at the Diamond Shop in Clayton, very simple to get to, you are going to be able to take advantage of some really special deals. 40% off all Colorstone in-stock jewelry, sapphires, rubies, emeralds, more. 40% off that Colorstone in-stock jewelry. I have shopped there and looked at these beautiful, beautiful gems, a lot of birthstone, trying to figure out whose birthstone in my family is which one, and they are gorgeous. If you're looking for something like this, 40% off. If you're a VIP at the Diamond Shop, which you go to thediamondshop.net to sign up for if you haven't yet, thediamondshop.net doesn't cost you anything. It's an obvious and easy thing to do. If you're a VIP at the Diamond Shop when you're shopping there at that event, an extra 10% off. 5% of all the sales are going to benefit the APA Adoption Center. Find out more details and how to become a VIP online at thediamondshop.net.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Couponing. Wow, you didn't strike me as the coupon type.
Just trying to stay ahead of inflation. Gas, groceries, everything. It's all more expensive. I need to save wherever I can.
Have you tried Upside yet?
Upside? What's that?
It's a free app that I use that pays cash back for every gallon of gas I buy. You've got to buy gas to get around anyway. Might as well get paid for it.
Come on, does that really add up to anything?
I've already made around $200. The extra cash helped pay down my bills, and I even had a little extra left to treat myself.
And the Upside app is free?
Totally free, and the cash back is real. You can transfer the cash right to your bank account.
I'm downloading Upside right now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code OIL to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code OIL for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code OIL for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
I was having a lot of sinus infections. My sinuses were clogged, pressure, headaches.
Linda suffered for years with chronic sinus infections.
You don't feel like doing anything. When you feel like your head is completely clogged, all you want to do is just lay down and sleep. And the pressure, it's just not fun, always walking around with a headache.
Now, her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of St. Louis Sinus Centers called balloon sinuplasty.
I really did not know what it was like to feel like you're really breathing and not being so clogged up. I would do it again in a heartbeat, and I would definitely recommend it for someone else.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, congestion? Find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Set an appointment today with St. Louis Sinus Centers. Call 314-332-2885. 314-332-2885. That's 314-332-2885.
You need a home or commercial security system you can rely on, one that lets you know that the kids got home from school, alerts you to an emergency, monitors your porch, and can even manage your thermostat and lights. Reliant Security can do all of that and more. Visit us at secure-reliant.com.
Del Walmsley and the Wealth Cycle.
This is the wealth cycle that I've taught for 30 years. Buy one house, 10 houses, an apartment, 2 apartments, 8, 20, 500 units, 1,000 units, 2,000, 5,000 units. And as you keep putting the money and the profits back in, you become one of those rich people. And much quicker than you'd even believe.
Learn Del's Wealth Cycle at GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. Use promo code 2023. Save 60%. Code 2023. GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. GiveMeTotalFreedom.com.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Not just right and left, right and wrong. We're discussing it every day on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. This is the Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
When you were asked not to talk about the thing on the air, it should have just extended to off air.
Off air too,
with your friends.
I should. So I can't talk about things on air that I can't talk about off air as well.
We're shopping Prime Day right now and looking for your suggestions. So if there's something that you think we should check out, you can tweet it at us at Annie Frey Show, at One Hannah Gibbs, at Radio Wiggins, at Range Brad, and tell us what kind of great deals are out there that you think that we should partake in. There's just one 5-pack umbrella hat, sports head umbrella hats for adults and for kids. Could have an application for Disney
That
World.
camo one looks awesome.
That one's cool. The rest of them look kind of silly. That one, though, you could hide in that thing. Keep tweeting them at us. When the election keeps marching its way closer and closer to us, is Donald Trump going to continue to be... Is there anything that could happen right now to Donald Trump that would take him out of the lead? Is there anything that he can do that would cause his base or whatever it is that is supporting him right now, his base plus, to stop supporting him?
I don't know. I think the hardcore base, which is like 35%, I don't know that you're going to shake them off at all. Like they're in. But I do think that if you actually put him in jail in an orange jumpsuit, that might peel off enough people just with the imagery that you might have a serious contender.
Listen to MSNBC's Katie Fang on
I'm going to beat this drum until the cows come home. I still don't want a Ron DeSantis. I'll take a Donald Trump over Ron DeSantis any day. A Ron DeSantis is a leaner, meaner Donald Trump, and I will go to the grave on that one.
That's what the people are saying in a way that don't want to see the Republicans win. They want Donald Trump to be the case. Now let's go to another non-Trump supporter.
And the fact is that this is an awful choice. I think the last poll I saw was 70% of the American people don't want the choice to be between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. And let's face it, President Biden, in my opinion, I've said this before publicly, is too old for this job. He's just not up to it anymore.
That's a fair statement. That's a fair assessment. Couple that with when Donald Trump was a president. Brad, do you remember how much they were talking about his cognitive ability, wanting him to take tests, saying he shuffled down a ramp?
The way he drank out of water bottles, just all sorts of nonsense like that.
We don't even question. I mean, Chris Christie is here doing it. Chris Christie doesn't count. He's technically running for president to pretty much dismantle Donald Trump's campaign, see how successful he is. But it's looking like it's going to be Trump Biden. 483 days out. I'm trying to think to myself, what's going to stop it from being Trump Biden? There's a couple things I think that could happen to make it not Biden. I'm not going to talk about him right now. But on the Donald Trump side, even if he's in an orange jumpsuit in a jail cell, the MAGA people are going to just MAGA louder and harder. I just don't know if there are enough of them to win a primary without the people who see that and go, I don't want to risk losing the general. Because that's the question.
You asked Ryan, is there anything that comes from what the MAGA crowd would view as the machine, as the inside, as the swamp, anything like that will not deter them. In fact, it'll encourage them to support Donald Trump harder.
I'm almost in that category. When I see that stuff, it Steely's Dan's me up or whatever.
Yeah. Case in point.
I need to Google that.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Do you think Trump is gaining any support from people who aren't sure where their vote is going? Like, do you think he's pulling new votes or just keeping the ones that he already had? Anybody?
What do you think, Ryan?
Repeat the question.
He's asked, is Trump persuading people?
Yes. Or is he just keeping the same MAGA crowd that he's always had? Or
in
is
the
he...
GOP, I think in the GOP, he's winning people over.
You think?
Not a lot, but he is. Yeah.
I don't think he is.
I don't think he is.
I haven't. I mean, you see polls, and he's always hovering around the same percentage. All the movements lower in the polls. DeSantis gets more, DeSantis gets less. Ramaswamy gets more, Ramaswamy gets less.
Trump is about 52%.
Yeah, and Trump just hovers right there, 52%.
When you have that conversation, what Hannah's asking was a very smart question. You have your always Trumpers and you have your never Trumpers. I don't know how much they cancel each other out because your never Trumpers are largely Democrats and then some goofy Republicans who, in my opinion, are trying to make a name on that. So they still, ironically, need Donald Trump. Take your never Trumpers out. Take your always Trumpers out. I would venture to say that the people in this room right here, the four of us, are neither of those categories. Yeah. Would you, Brad, always never?
No, I'm...
Yeah, I'm neither of those.
Nope, I'm still persuadable.
There are a ton of people who are interested in seeing Donald Trump win again. It's actually the question that I generally ask people if I'm having one-on-one conversations. If it was your world and we're living in it, who would you like to see become the president? And everybody, when I talk to those people, if they're not in one of those camps already, and I pretty much know who is, they want to see Donald Trump be the president.
Mm-hmm.
It's their ideal outcome. But the gap between wanting it and believing it's what will be the eventual outcome is too great for them right now to throw their full weight behind Donald Trump. So they might not be in the 52%, but they're probably gettable. They're probably out there in a position to be persuaded. But when you're talking about Donald Trump in an orange jumpsuit in a jail cell, I don't know that that's the persuasion that they're looking for. That's actually, to me, the thing that's going to pull a lot of those in-betweeners away from Trump, not because they support him less, not because they think he's getting screwed less, but because in their mind, if Donald Trump can't win the general election, the only way to vindicate the one who they want to see there the most is to make sure that a Democrat loses. Mm-hmm. So what is the outcome of a Republican primary that is going to actually enact the only scenario where they believe that Donald Trump is going to get the vindication that he deserves? So you have the orange jumpsuit in a jail cell persuasion that's going to persuade some people to support him, but I think it's going to persuade his hardest core supporters to support him even more, maybe more vocally, maybe more physically present in places, whatever that looks like. But if you have him come out and start hardcore attacking Joe Biden, hardcore going in on policy, hardcore talking about what he's going to do when he wins, he does do this stuff. He does comment on these things. So a lot of people come out and say, he never talks about this. He's just slamming his opponents on the Republican side. It's not true. He does talk about policy, but he's distracting people who are voters who are interested in actually, in my opinion, begging to be persuaded to know that he's got his head squarely focused on the prize here. It causes them to be distracted by the truth posts that get tweeted out in screenshots. It's the most bizarre thing ever. But just the depths with which he will dig at his opponents, causing it to be so distracting from the actual message. He is his own distraction. And putting himself in that position to constantly distract from the message makes me think that his message is the distraction and not the policy. And if you don't care about the policy, if you don't care about getting everything back on track the way it's supposed to be, then I'm not persuaded. And I'm just sitting here waiting to be persuaded. Like, come on, man. That's where I'm at.
It's going to be interesting because if it is Trump and Biden in 2024, you saw a historic turnout in 2020. Both sides. Unbelievable. Is the nation so burned out now, though, on those two people that you see, is it again that people are so entrenched in their side that they do turn out, even if they're doing so reluctantly? Or is it going to be a lower turnout election because people are just so burned out by it, it's all just noise at this point?
I don't think we're going to see low turnout elections. I think it's too hip to be involved in.
Well, it's too easy to vote now, too. To not vote, to just, there are states that are sending you your ballot in the mail. Those people are going to vote, and they're going to, if all they have to do is open their mail, fill it out, put it back in the mail, and send it back in, they're absolutely going to vote.
But that's not inherently a bad thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, inherently, no, but
if that ballot gets sent to me, and that's the easiest way for me to fill out and send it back in, because I'm going to be out of town during election day, that's not a bad thing.
No.
As long as it's secure.
Well, sure. But we can't just
Better
say
than not voting at all.
Yeah, we can't just say that more people I don't like the phrase "it's too easy to vote." That bothers me because it shouldn't be about ease to vote. It should be about making sure that, like, if we can make it so that every citizen votes because they want to participate in the process, there shouldn't be anything hindering people from voting. And the idea that putting somehow or another an identification of saying who you are, when we put the burden on people to have an identification to do a ton of other things in this country, just try to be a Second Amendment user in the state of Illinois, we require the idea of identification to be attached to important things in this country that I think that that's not a hindrance. It doesn't make it harder to vote. It's something you have to do, but it doesn't inherently make it harder. But I don't want to be attached to the idea that we want to make it difficult to vote or that it shouldn't be easy to vote, because it's incredibly easy to vote in general. And the more people who participate, the better. I think the key here is that the people who are voting, like the idea of voting purposely by special interest groups and people like Black Lives Matter as an industry, as an organization that's used to pump money out of people because these people care about things and they believe the sentence that Black Lives Matter, and who the heck doesn't? Sit down if you do. If you're in disagreement with this idea that people of any walk of life should be treated equally and cared for and loved. Black lives absolutely matter. You create an organization, you capitalize the letter, you create some merchandise, and all of a sudden the people who organize it are living in huge mansions and defaulting on loans, and it's a ruse. So you get motivated to go participate in something because you care about it, but you're being taken advantage by people who are using you for your money so that they can have power and influence. That's the problem. And I don't really know how we fix it, because the media narrative that's out there right now, we said this earlier in the show, I'm saying it again. The less you know and the more you feel, the more they win. And the they is not the Democrats. The they is not the Republicans. It's the people who want to pull the strings and move the levers to retain their position of power wherever it might be and whatever it might be.
Yeah, especially on that issue. It used to not be, just like so many other things, used to not be a partisan issue. Now it is. And so now if it has a D next to it and an R next to it, people are already bought into whatever they think is the solution. And so nothing's going to actually change from what it is now.
Yeah. The really saddest part of the whole thing is that you're going to have to feel real hurt and pain in your life economically or in the way you live your life in this country in order to look up, bring your head up, wake up to saying what is going on here and who can do something about it. Stick around, vote in the Annie Frey YouTube poll, the Annie Frey YouTube channel. Back in a minute.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-652-5241 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-652-5241. That's 800-652-5241. What do you have to lose? Call 800-652-5241. Again, 800-652-5241.
Ruler Foods, online at rulerfoods.com. Simple, smart, and fresh. When you are shopping at Ruler Foods, you're saving money on your grocery bill. And that is something that is easy to do and reliable every time you shop. I want you to understand that Ruler Foods always has great low prices on Kroger brands at Ruler Foods prices. But you're out there, you're shopping, you're picking out the things in your store that you would normally buy everywhere else, and you're saving money. It's really that simple. And there's no reason not to give the Ruler Foods nearest you a shot at your business. They have Kroger cheese slices right now, 12 ounces for $1.99. Private Selection pepperoni or salami, 14 ounces, $1.99. Home Chef pizzas, 24, 25 ounces, $5.99. M&M's or Mars candy party size bags, $10.99. When you're looking to save on groceries and you're looking to pinch pennies here, there, and everywhere, it doesn't matter if the economy is good or bad. Why wouldn't you want to save? It's what the Frey family does. We shop at Ruler Foods. You can save online. You can find the one closest to you at rulerfoods.com.
I appreciate everybody calling and the referrals that are being passed around. I want to say thank you to everybody that's helping their family out or their friends or whoever. Our growth in Illinois and the St. Charles area has been phenomenal, and we want to continue doing that. We're extremely busy. If I could get to everybody, I would. But if you have been told that you need a new air conditioner, regardless of the reason, save my number in your phone. Don't do it while you're driving. When you stop, when it's safe, put my name and number in your phone. Now remember, here's the name. It's Bart with a B, Inman with an I. Save it under, I know this is going to get so confusing, save it under A, that would be air conditioning. We got that? Save 314-293-2600 under A for air conditioning. And if you would like to find out more on the internet, website, bartinman.com.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
To postpone the classified documents trial. I'm Rich Dennison, Fox News. Lawyers for former President Trump want the trial in the Mar-a-Lago documents case to be delayed from its current proposed December start date until after the 2024 elections.
The lawyers say such a timeline is unreasonable, arguing there isn't enough time to prepare, sifting through vast documents the government spent years gathering. They also claim that finding jurors in the midst of a presidential election would be incredibly difficult.
Fox's Eben Brown. A new grand jury is being seated this week in Atlanta and will likely consider whether criminal charges are appropriate for former President Trump or his allies or their efforts to overturn his 2020 election loss in Georgia. That probe began shortly after Trump called Georgia's Secretary of State asking him to find enough votes to beat Democrat Joe Biden. The investigation expanded to include examination of a slate of Republican fake electors and other phone calls to Georgia officials and allegations of election fraud. Storm cleanup efforts continue in the nation's northeast, where flooding has caused tens of millions of dollars in damage in New York State and Vermont.
People are comparing the flooding here in New York's Hudson Valley and in Vermont to past hurricanes based on the damage. Crews are working on escape roads for homes where the water destroyed all the roads that get them in and out of their neighborhoods.
Fox Weather's Katie Byrne. President Biden is in Vilnius, Lithuania for the NATO summit, noting the importance of expanding the alliance after Russia's invasion of Ukraine.
Adding Finland and Sweden to NATO is consequential.
Turkey appears to be ready to end its opposition to Sweden's membership. Most NATO members feel Ukraine must wait to join until its conflict with Russia ends. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky blasting the lack of a timetable for his country to become a member of NATO. He is expected to meet with President Biden and other NATO leaders tomorrow. America's listening to Fox News.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. At ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/FREE. ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The steam bath is back across town. Partly to mostly sunny skies. Hot temperatures this afternoon. Very humid. 95. Tonight, partly cloudy. 90s this evening. A ton of humidity. 72. Wednesday, changeable skies. Looking for 1, maybe 2 rounds of strong to severe thunderstorms Wednesday afternoon into Wednesday evening. Let's really pay attention to the sky. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
On Saturday, July 15th, the Cardinals take on the Washington Nationals, and you will not want to miss it. That day, 25,000 fans ages 16 and older will add an Albert Pujols bobblehead to their collection. This exclusive bobble, presented by Coca-Cola and Schnucks, honors and celebrates Pujols' career, highlighted by 703 home runs. Don't miss out. That's Saturday, July 15th. For tickets, visit cardinals.com/promotions.
Backing up his Newt bar. He's at the track. He jumps, and he caught it!
On Sunday, July 16th, the Cardinals host the Nationals, and there is a giveaway for everyone. That day, 25,000 fans ages 16 and older will take home a mystery Cardinals Henley, thanks to Bayer. And the younger fans like me will get in on the fun too, when 10,000 kids ages 15 and under receive a Cardinals all-over print hat. For tickets, visit cardinals.com/promotions.
This is Lars Newtbar. Make your family memories at the ballpark.
Hey, Bernie Federico here. Over the years, you've heard me talk about lakeside renovation and design. My friends Matt and Dan have been in the business for over 25 years and have done everything on my home, from James Hardy siding, Infinity from Marvin Windows, and even a couple of room additions. These guys are great, and you can trust them with your home. Check out their website to see for yourself all the beautiful work they've done. You can find them online at lakesidерenovationanddesign.com. Be sure to ask about their unbelievable financing options. Lakeside Renovation and Design.
We all know about the speed of sound, but have you ever thought about the sounds of speeding? Drive too fast and you could hear the sound of your vehicle crashing, because one way or another, speeding catches up with you. Paid for by NHTSA.
Mark Reardon sees clearly thanks to Doctors Birdie and Maholtred Ophthalmology Associates. You can too. Go to youridoc.com today. That's youridoc.com or call 314-966-5000. Ophthalmology Associates.
Michael's Flooring Outlet online at igotfloored.com. Go online to igotfloored.com and request an estimate right at the top of the page there if you're looking to put in some new flooring in your residential or commercial, your place of business. They can help you with that. They invite you to splash into summer with new flooring by shopping online. They are wonderful at knowing how to meet your needs and to understand your budget and to match the look that you're trying to get with the products that they have. When you are looking for a hardwood kind of finish, maybe you specifically want hardwood, they have that for you. They also have laminate. They have luxury vinyl. They have waterproof flooring. I know in my house, I've got kiddos. I've got a dog. Waterproof has its benefits. We all understand that. When you're shopping at Michael's Flooring Outlet, they're going to talk to you about your circumstances. It's one of the benefits of shopping local with a family who's been in business here in St. Louis for 30 years, treating people just like you with the dignity and the respect that you need, listening to your needs and being experts and matching your needs with their products. You can find them online at igotfloored.com.
Filtering the BS pushed by the mainstream media.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
97.1 FM Talk. This hour of the Annie Frey Show is brought to you by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. We're grateful that you're here with us today. It's Prime Day on Amazon, so it's today and tomorrow. They've got lots of great deals and savings, and it's like Black Friday, but in July. Good opportunity to buy some Christmas presents maybe ahead of time. If you have a suggestion of something that you want us to check and consider buying by the end of the show, you can tweet at us. If you go to @Annie Frey Show, the tweet that I have up there right now has all of our Twitter handles in there, and you can tweet at us and suggest something, because by the end of the show, we're going to make a decision, and we're all promising that we are going to purchase something from Amazon Prime. So you can be a part of that if you so choose. I'm a parent of 4, as many of you know. Ryan, you've got 3 children yourself. How do you guys approach social media and how your kids are involved in what you post? Because I have found, like on my personal social media, I have found that really the only reason that I really invest in posting things is because they often give you the memories and stuff a year into, and it's like I like to go back and look. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to document, I'm using social media as a way to document things that are happening. It's not really to be like, everyone come see how good everything is.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's
It's almost
the
like
tendency.
a personal blog.
Yes.
Which is kind of what it was originally intended to be.
But social media is evolving all the time, and there's questions about how do you respect your children and their privacy? Do you share things with people on social media? Like, where's the line? I don't know that we've lived enough time to understand the full ramifications of whatever it is that any of us are doing right now.
Yeah, I have a friend, colleague I used to work with who would post on Facebook. Here's what's unique, because a lot of people who would not post anything on Facebook, they just don't post or they don't have an account at all. But he would post things on Facebook, but he would never post anyone, not just his kids, but anyone's face, because he thought the facial recognition software was going to get to the point where people would be able to track him or his kids wherever they went using Facebook. And I think there's real concern about that kind of stuff.
That's already happening.
Yeah.
I mean, like, not on everybody's.
To what extent is it happening?
I mean, the technology is there that it's accessible now if they want,
Yes.
if they want to use it. There's nothing that is, we're not waiting on anything.
No, the technology's there, but I think, is the government tracking where you're going by street cameras using your Facebook pictures yet? I don't know. I hope not. It's possible. But he would never do that. And I never all went in all like he did, but I still think about that every time I post a picture of my kids, which I still do, but it just makes me nervous.
Here's where I am on the issue. If I choose not to participate in it, it's not going to stop it from happening. If I choose to not share any photos of my children, it's horrifying, but it's accessible. Everybody's is accessible. That information is accessible. And it might be accessible in a way that you're never even really exposed to or know about. There are, when we were in Texas, I was talking to some of the sheriffs there, and they were talking about how they had caught somebody. I don't remember what the specific circumstances of the crime was, but how they have all of these cameras around town now that can do license plate reading and be able to track people who go from here to there to there. It was super quick. And I was talking to, I think it was the sheriff from Sangamon County, who was talking about a crime that they were tracking from Sangamon County. They found the guy in Alton.
Oh, wow.
Because they have the license plate reader cameras there. And I go, is that totally legal? Like, not an invasion of privacy? He's like, no, absolutely. It's legal. It's in public, which makes sense. I can go out into the street right now, and if somebody's walking down the street, I can put my phone in their face and take a picture of their face, and that is legal because you are in public. So with that understanding of how much information is being cultivated, and there's always going to be the question about balance. How much do you share? How much are you participating in? When you and I are having a conversation right here, and if we start talking about green puppy dogs that like to eat blueberry muffins, if you later tonight were listening to the show here and your phone heard me just say that, and you're scrolling Facebook tonight and you see an ad for blueberry muffins,
mm-hmm.
If there's any blueberry muffin bakers out there that want to sponsor the show, you let me know. ABC News covered this story, which is kind of getting back to what I'm talking about, like the ability for parents to share on social media in ways that affect or involve their children. Cam Barrett was strapped to a hospital gurney in a neck brace following an automobile accident when Cam's mother took a picture of the moment to post on social media. It was not the first time Barrett's mother shared personal information. Previous posts included details about Barrett's first cycle, I'll leave it at that, and photographs of Barrett as a little girl sporting a bikini. Barrett told ABC News Live she would just post paragraphs about my day-to-day life, what I was doing. Now Barrett is among the first generation whose parents may have overshared private details on social media about their children, a group that lawmakers are now working to protect with privacy legislation. This is where it gets interesting. According to ABC News, one proposed remedy is a first-of-its-kind bill out of Washington state that would allow kids to request content be taken down once they reach a certain age. The bill, which is stalled in the state legislature, it was co-sponsored by Representative Christine Reeves. It's a different culture to grow up in, the eye of social media, and the pressures are very different. They're much more intense. Not all kids get that right or that choice to be included in these materials, and quite frankly, don't always get the explanation of what it could mean for them, the implications of it long term. Barrett said that some of the photos that her mom posted would get comments from older men. She didn't know better. You know, the internet was new to her generation. So Barrett is now 24 years old, and searches of her name show photos of her as a child wearing a bikini that pop up on Google. And she said during a hearing for the proposed Washington bill that she's, quote, terrified to have those weaponized against her. What do you think about that?
I think I got one real easy solution to the problem with the legislation, and that is the age at which you can request things be taken down by your parents or anybody else would be 18. Like, let's just say it's at 18 because then you're an adult and you can ask for those things. However, just because you ask for something to be taken down off the internet it's not gone. It's the internet is forever. That stuff's there.
Yeah, it's called the Streisand effect. Barbara Streisand had a picture of her house taken, and she tried to have it taken down, and it just caused it to spread like wildfire. So the more you tell people, you can't look at this, the more it's going to spread. Which is, man, you sit here and you think about this young lady and the issues that she has, and like you were saying, Annie, her mom didn't know any better. She was just, this is what my daughter is doing.
I disagree. Her mom should know better than to share those specific details of her on the internet. You wouldn't walk into a room and be like, all right, everybody, Cam just started her cycle and it's important for everybody in this room.
Yeah,
I know I
that's
don't know any of
That's
you.
a good point.
That's crazy. Which is why I don't know that new legislation, and I'm like game planning this right now. I don't have a solution here. I don't have this. I don't know that anybody does, which is why I think it's an important conversation to have, because conversation and disagreement is where good solutions come from people who want to weigh in on this stuff. But I don't feel like this would be any different than some sort of child, like you would be making the case that you were abusing your child. That's really what it's just through social media. The means would be different. I think that's what she's trying to say. Now, is she talking to her parents or her mom and she's saying, hey, can you take down that photo of me in a bikini when I'm a kid? And the mom's going, no, I want it up there. Then you probably need to have somebody come in and mediate that situation. So I can understand how maybe some legislation would exist that gives adults at 18, and it could be younger. I mean, you can emancipate yourself at a younger age. In Illinois, you can get an abortion at pretty much any age, and the parents don't have to know. You can get a sex change, or you can get like that type of therapy in Illinois. Like, really interesting the way that we kind of move that line as to when you can. But you can be on your parents' health insurance until you're 26.
Yeah.
Like, stop it. But the idea that somehow or another the behavior of this parent is somehow abusive, like, who owns the right to the images of a child? I've posted on our Annie Frey Show Instagram, Molly was wearing this cute little 4th of July dress, and I'm scrolling through video, and there was a cute song, and I paired it together. And when I put that stuff out there, I know that I'm putting my daughter out in a public place. I don't feel like I'm compromising her, but it's my decision, not hers. Am I infringing on my 2-year-old's rights?
That's why we got to be careful, is because of all the legislation that you just talked about, that they're trying to separate parents from kids and gives kids rights beyond where they've ever been before. And I think it's moving toward the idea that kids have consent rights in ways that they shouldn't. So laws like this, while they seem on the surface like, well, you know, if a kid's 15 years old and doesn't want mom and dad posting pictures of them because they feel awkward or whatever, you kind of hear that and you go, well, I can get behind that.
Have you ever been in a mandatory training session for mandatory reporting?
Yes, I have.
Have you?
No.
Really?
No.
I have as well. And if you take mandatory reporter training and you learn what you are legally required to report, should you see it, should you choose to, be in a situation where you're around youth or in as a position of some sort of authority over youth, I've had to do that before. And there are things that you can do and say and see where you have to, you as an adult are legally obligated to report certain things. And it's even like if you're skeptical. So if there is a situation where a child is feeling as though they are being compromised and they're old enough to know it at 15 or 16, I feel as though that should have some power and some weight through parents who don't clearly have their child's best interest at heart. But I wonder if the internet is the means to something that we already have legal recourse in place to protect those children.
Well, but is mandatory reporting, would that be something as benign as a kid being pictures of a 15-year-old kid being posted online that are not sexual? They don't want to be out there. We would be then giving rights to the 15-year-old they don't have yet.
No, but the point of what I'm saying is that if a child is uncomfortable about those things, why are they uncomfortable about them? And as a grown person, if a child were to come to me and say to me, as a coach, if a child were to come to me and say, this person posted photos of me in a swimsuit and it makes me really uncomfortable that these photos are out there and they won't take them down, I have to pass that information.
I see what you mean.
Along.
Yeah. Okay.
That's not to say that kid's not a smart little stinker and took the picture and posted it themselves and not trying to, but that's when you turn that over to the authorities, they investigate and they find it out.
Yeah. And
I'm just saying that the internet adds a whole new layer and wrinkle into what takes place. I mean, if you were growing up in the 80s like I was, and you got a roll of film developed at the Walmart and they put them in that
canister.
No, I mean like a book, a book that
Mm-hmm.
you could flip through. Sometimes you could get photos that were just actually part of a book and you could maybe tear them out or whatever. That book goes in your purse. You go to the Little League, the siblings' Little League game. Oh, look at this. And it's a picture of, little Ryan Wiggins at 3 years old running around naked and you can see his butt and you're showing that. Is it different because you're showing it at a Little League game to people you know and it's cute and it's not a bad thing versus when you put it up on the internet? I don't know the answer here. But when kids become older and they've had a portion of their life shared online, what happens?
Well, that is different because in one instance, you're showing it to very few people and controlled who you know. In the other, you're showing it to people who maybe you don't know, and it can go to places that you don't know. And they can hold on to it. But it's still, in both cases, it's up to the discernment of the parent to figure that out. If the parent's too stupid to figure out that some picture could be used in a bad way of their own children, then they're just dumb.
Well, let me ask you this. So once a child becomes an adult, who owns the rights to the image of that child? Is it does the parent
we don't
still
know.
Yeah,
that doesn't exist.
So let's take it off the digital front and just do it on regular pictures. Does that parent still own the rights to the image of that child as a minor? Or does the child then become, as an adult, then take over the rights to their image from birth till now? Could the mom, if she had a really cute picture of her daughter, then sell that image to a modeling agency, and the modeling agency give her money so they could use it in an ad campaign? Does the child, who is now an adult, have a right to that?
Children that do modeling, Charlie was once in an ad for Walmart Photo or something like that. Well, you can't do anything with kids without the parents' consent.
Mm-hmm.
You can't go watch movies that have kids in them with the parents not going, my kid will act for you. My kid will do this for you. Mm-hmm. And I mean, you've heard a lot. That's probably the closest analogy that we have over the course of time to this particular instance is a child who's been made very famous in public because their parents said, use my kid. And then the kid goes and does that and becomes public, a very public figure, and never has the opportunity to not be. It's part of who they are. I mean, is that really different than a kid who's raised in a military home and doesn't get to stay in one place? Like, it's part of your existence. This is who you are. We chose to raise you in a way that you're going to be mobile, and every 2 years or less, you're going to be moving from place to place. You're not going to have any childhood friends that you grew up with because you're just going to live a life. And I mean, you could be mad about that, but that's what the parents decided was the right thing for the family, and that's the life that you were raised in.
Yeah, or the son or daughter of a carny. somebody that moves around all the time from city to city, operating fantastic rides.
Mm-hmm.
Something else for you to consider.
I might need to take the break to do that. See if Ryan Wiggins is still on the show when we return. Oh, man. Let's take a quick break here. More Annie Frey Show right around the corner. Don't go away.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Instagram at The Annie Frey Show.
So the ProWomanApproach.com website is how you connect and support and be a part of a positive solution for women who are considering abortions. I want you to think about the idea, the reality that abortion is a choice that women get to make, that women often make without the whole story, that women often make without any support, that women often make under a ton of pressure from a whole bunch of entities that don't actually have anything to do with the situation of them sitting in a room with child, trying to figure out what to do next with their entire life. When you go to ProWomanApproach.com, you are going to help these women find care centers that are going to provide them with scientific information that tells them what's going on. They're going to support this woman after she chooses life. They're going to provide for this woman, for this child. It's a huge part of what Vitae Foundation does. And ProWomanApproach.com is how you can support them in this mission. It is a heart project for me. It is a heart issue for me. And I just invite you to go to ProWomanApproach.com, give what you can, but also check out the amazing events that they have each and every month throughout the year. They are doing the work and laying the groundwork for you to get on board and be a part of a solution to help people choose life. Go to ProWomanApproach.com.
This Little Light is a new podcast hosted by Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Join him as he explores falling in love with music, music education, and the creative process while interviewing the biggest names in music, like Rick Rubin.
I like things that are stripped down. I've always liked things that are stripped down. Then I can get to the point where I like something that's stripped down and what's it like with an orchestra.
This Little Light is a presentation of Cadence 13. Subscribe and download it now on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
This planet is so incredibly beautiful that I can't get enough of it. I did 950 miles on the Pacific Crest Trail, and Good Feet was with me all the way. Your passion's important, but if your body aches and if your heel feels like you've got a nail stuck in it and won't come out, trust me, it's going to wear you down. The Good Feet store knew what they were talking about and took the time to really dial in what I needed. I hiked 84 miles in the Himalaya and to do it pain-free. You think I'm not grateful for Good Feet?
Get ready for your summer adventures. Come to the Good Feet store today. Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations on Olive west of I-270 in the Plaza with Subway or in Shiloh, Illinois across from Deerbergs.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. You deserve comfort in your life. Come in for your free test walk today.
You wouldn't trust a butcher to babysit your pet pig. You wouldn't trust a lumberjack to repair your antiques. Or a professional wrestler to be your massage therapist. So why would you trust anyone but AMCO to fix your car? For over 50 years, we've been the trusted experts in transmission repair.
AMCO offers easy payment plan options for most any credit situation, so you can fix it fast and pay it off slow at AMCO.
AA MCO.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/radio. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands to treat ED at up to 95% off. That's right, the same active ingredient as the brand name for 95% less. It's the same ED medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, forhims.com/radio. That's forhims.com/radio for your free online visit. forhims.com/radio.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for the Honor Flight today at gslhonorflight.org. And for heating services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
97.1 and thousands of music options, plus millions of podcasts are all on the free Odyssey app. Download the app or tell your smart speaker to play 97.1 and it comes up automatically. 97.1 FM Talk. The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Any of you guys consider yourself, and I know that there's a thing about this, it happened when I was on maternity leave, so I don't know the details. Are any of you huge Taylor Swift fans?
Not huge, but I'm upset I wasn't at the concert.
The KC one? Mm-hmm. Is she coming to St. Is that the closest she's coming?
Yeah.
No.
I kind of dislike Taylor Swift.
You dislike her? You
Yeah.
actively... Why?
Why?
She just rubs me the wrong way. Always has.
Okay. You know what? We'll just leave that. But there is, I do want to say that...
You suck. Brian, don't look at me like that. Careful. Go on.
I'm amazed he's able to get that close to her, considering security. But I will say that I think that she has some good music, but I don't love Taylor Swift. To
As
answer
a
your
person
question.
or her music?
I don't know her as a person, so I'm judging her solely by her music and her Capital One ads.
I've been becoming a bigger fan as the days goes on.
What is wrong with Taylor Swift?
Yeah, what?
She's a little bit lib.
Not you.
Oh, sorry, Brad.
You be quiet.
I don't know.
You keep your mouth and your facial expressions to yourself.
She seems too mean girl for me.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I think she's for the girls.
I think
it's the opposite.
No, I think she is an incredibly
Oh no, don't try to praise her now.
No, it's an.
He's
no,
not.
I'm
He's
not.
not. He's
No,
definitely
I don't like her. I think that everything that you guys like about her is a persona, and it's carefully, molded to make her seem likable, and she's not. I don't like anything about her.
So you're saying default is unlikable?
Default.
The one thing I like about her more than her music.
Brad would totally, if she weren't wearing makeup that day, be like, "What's wrong? What's wrong with you?"
You look sick.
I wouldn't say anything to her.
You what?
The one thing I really do like about her is her ability to get to the stage in covert ways.
She's very, very sneaky.
I saw that video.
Yeah.
It was cool. It was super cool. It's like spy stuff where she's sneaking onto her own stage in the venue. She can't even move freely in the venue. She has to go in a fake, janitor's cart up to the stage because she'll get mobbed by just people, I guess, at work at the stadiums.
There was a story a month or so ago of somebody who became a security guard at the facility so that they could be at the concert.
That doesn't surprise me.
It's kind of smart. She got paid to be there. Actually, I think it might have been a he.
Oh, yeah. That's a good idea.
I love Taylor Swift. Yeah. I have no hate for Taylor Swift. I don't know how you can like capitalism and hate Taylor Swift. So obviously Brad's a commie.
Yeah. Yeah. He bleeds red.
He's wearing a shirt that's not even the real American flag that says victory.
Mm-hmm. 13 original colonies. 1776. Clearly a communist.
No, I think she's fantastic. And I think that it's interesting to watch. I guess the tour is called the Eras Tour.
Mm-hmm.
And the eras are her phases her albums.
Yes.
And I've learned, I don't know why, but social media is like, you really need to see these Taylor
There's
Swift
a
videos.
lot of Taylor knowledge. That's what's like holding me back from being an extreme Swiftie, because there's so many facts and
Brad too.
different things that I just don't like. I feel like I'm behind.
She's so smart. She's such a smart businesswoman. It's why I respect her so much, because she's in charge. She created something. The Taylor Swift empire is Taylor Swift's. She writes her own songs. She performs her own songs. She started at a super young age. She's fought the machine and beat the machine. And she's got 70,000 people at Arrowhead Stadium, and how many more that couldn't get in or afford to go?
Yeah, people were fighting for their tickets. I was actually talking to one of our coworkers who went to that concert, and she asked me this question, and it actually made me think if she thought that Taylor Swift is like the Elvis of the Gen Z generation. And I agree.
That's a really good point, because the other thing that I think is interesting about Taylor Swift is her upbringing is not... It's a little counterculture. She is somebody who has never, in my opinion, presented herself in the way that a lot of other entertainers have presented themselves to get attention. Her product is her music, and she embodies that music. And that's the thing I was going to say about the era is, like, as she's grown older, is she 30? I think she's like 30 now.
Yeah, she's got to be in her 30s.
So a 30-year-old woman is going to experience things differently, obviously, than a 16-year-old girl. And if you go through those eras, I always kind of thought that she was a really good role model in the sense that I would, if my daughters were listening to music and it was Taylor Swift, I'd be like, go on and listen to it. Like, I feel comfortable with you there. Now, her older music is from a different era in her life. So there's some stuff there that I'm like, maybe not that for my younger kids. Younger daughters, but I just think that if you look at Taylor Swift, whether you love her music or you hate her music, that in the storyline or in the timeline of music icons, that she is gotta be one of the best there ever was.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a wild statement to you? I mean, obviously you're not somebody who's a Swiftie. I get that, Ryan, but do you look at what she's doing and think of it as being a totally overused word, iconic?
I didn't until this tour. I mean, this tour has been
hard to deny.
Crazy. I mean, she's obviously a huge artist, but I don't know what it is about this go around. She's not even coming to St. Louis in this. That you just see enough stories. Probably half of what we do is because we see so many news stories. So I'm seeing it a lot and going, man, people are nuts over this girl. What's the deal? And now Annie's on board with it? I don't know what to think.
Oh, I've always been on board with it. Her Revolution album is my running album.
Yeah, Annie's always been a fan, and this tour has sparked a lot of fandom in people. I think her rewriting her albums and coming out with the Taylor's version of it, I think people love it. It reminds them of their childhood. She just released or re-released her Speak Now album, which was like right early 20s for her, and so that's a really
it's the John Mayer
core time. Yep, so people are loving that.
Clear this up for me, because I am genuinely interested in this. She has a back catalog that's owned by a record label, I'm assuming. That
is
has
it Scooter Braun?
Yeah, Scooter Braun.
Or her manager, is that who this guy is? But she doesn't own it, is the point. So now she's re-recording all of her own albums.
Yeah.
And what is she, only like halfway through them or something? Is that what?
She's just re-releasing them like they're new albums. So that's why everything is Taylor's version. If you go on to Spotify and you're listening to music, or if you were listening to Y98 and it was playing, it would probably say, Speak Now in parentheses Taylor's version, which means they're playing the one that she's remastered and re-recorded, because she now owns those. So she tried to get her catalog back, couldn't get it, and she's like, fine, I'll do it all over again.
Which is super cool.
It's
I will admit,
it's
that's
one of
pretty
the
neat.
most BA moves I've ever seen in business, and she's a young, strong female doing it. Here's a question. Maybe this is something you guys can answer to. Kevin here says, Taylor's "You Need to Calm Down." Have you heard that song? I'm sure you have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And video really laid down the gauntlet to conservatives over gays and trans. I could see why they may not like her for things like that. How much did that song really factor into your disgust for Taylor Swift?
I hate to say it, but a lot. The song itself.
You know it?
Yeah, I know that one because of the video, because it made waves. The song doesn't say anything. It's just what it is. I actually kind of like the song. You watch the video, she's making a political stance.
And does that bother you that she's making one?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Because I don't like it. I mean, it doesn't bother me that she's making a statement, because you can make a statement. I just don't agree with the statement.
What was the statement in the song?
It was painting conservatives as redneck, toothless idiots. And I was like, okay.
Is that a huge part of it then?
Part
of your aversion to Taylor Swift then?
It's a part of it, yeah.
What about you?
I didn't even know that was what that song was about. I probably couldn't even tell you about that song.
I don't even know that the song is about that, but it's in the video.
Yeah. I had no idea.
There's a line in the song that says, hate never made anyone less gay.
Oh, that's right. So that it's sort of in
It's
the song.
not about that.
Right, yeah, okay.
Isn't it possible, though, that I reject the notion. And I mean, if it's what Taylor Swift is implying, she has the right to do that, and I have the right to reject it.
Yeah.
That the idea that if you are conservative politically, if it's a political stance, I've never seen the video. If it's a political stance, I reject the idea that by virtue of being a specific political lean, that means that you hate somebody. And I extra reject the idea with emphasis. The idea that if you disagree with somebody or something or someone's lifestyle choices, that means you couldn't still be friendly, kind, courteous, and compassionate to people who are different than you. And I would expect the same in return if somehow or another my lifestyle wasn't the one that they chose. That's the whole freaking point, folks. So if, to me, I mean, not to turn it on its head, Kevin, with your comment, but to me, that's almost a bigger play to get people who are easily scooped up by this, let's collect together and hate people like them. That's what that song is implying based on this comment here, that this song is about, hey, let's get together. It's calling out people who want to get together and hate them, the capital T, them, whomever them is. It's actually kind of a clarion call for people like that to get together and hate people who think that you know who I am. On the simplest of terms, you boil everything down to an emotion and you say, those people over there that vote this certain way, wear this color hat, have a neck that might be a little bit redder than somebody else's. Here's why we're going to hate all those people. And we're going to keep it simple, stupid. That's kind of the easy play when you're trying to sell songs and you're trying to sell albums. If you can collect people together in 3 minutes and 15 seconds of a catchy tune, I love that song.
I do too.
I listen to that song it's on and I'll sing along with it. But it doesn't get to me. It doesn't bother me. Because she's not talking about me, because I don't have hate in my heart for those people that she's suggesting should be called out, those people who should calm down. She's not talking about me. Even if she is talking about me, sorry. What did you say the other day to Anna? Talk to the hand because the face not listening?
I say that all the time.
And Anna was like,
It's a new phrase.
Okay, I'll just stop talking. She had no idea. Welcome. Was that in the early 90s, you think? 80s?
It was 90s. Definitely wasn't. It wasn't pre-1990.
I don't know. I admire her for her business acumen and her just immeasurable success. And I have to add to it. If you look at things that this young woman has done and said and stood for in the time that she's been growing up in public, if it doesn't always match with you, let's go back into the 60s and the 70s and the 80s and look at all of the political statements that those people would have made over that course of time and see how many people swore off their music. I just reject the notion that if somebody disagrees with me or that I disagree with them, that I have to swear the whole thing off. I don't know that I would call myself a Swiftie, though. I'm kind of opposed to that idea, that notion.
I don't like the word Swiftie ever in any context. Is this? No, this isn't Swift.
Is this Taylor Swift? I don't know.
My gosh.
Turn it up. Let's listen to it. Taylor Swift, everybody.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
When Stewie was telling me about a 97.1 listener that he was recently working with, got turned down in from two other lenders before they came to Stewie. And they were listening to 97.1 and they heard me talking about the bagel loan, so they said, fine, I'll give Stewie a try. Stewart's American Mortgage can be reached at 314-324-4440. Two lenders had turned this person down. Stewie was able to get them the mortgage that they needed. If you were looking for a new mortgage, if you were looking to refinance a mortgage, Stewie and Stewart's American Mortgage is the place to go. Don't make a decision on what to do with your mortgage before you at least talk to him and listen to how smart it is to get the bagel loan with Stewart's American Mortgage. It's the only place you can get it. A 1% down conventional plus bagel loan. Stewie is the only place in the country right now who can do this 1% down with a buyer. Had just closed a $260,000 loan with $4,600 down, which is fantastic. 314-324-4440. If you are interested in talking to Stewie about your mortgage needs, he's there to help you. Mention Annie when you call, and he'll get right to you. Google the bagel loan, NMLS number 226715.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-652-5241 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-652-5241. That's 800-652-5241. What do you have to lose? Call 800-652-5241. Again, 800-652-5241.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Couponing. Wow, you didn't strike me as the coupon type. Just trying to stay ahead of inflation. Gas, groceries, everything. It's all more expensive. I need to save wherever I can.
Have you tried Upside yet?
Upside? What's that?
It's a free app that I use that pays cash back for every gallon of gas I buy. You've got to buy gas to get around anyway. Might as well get paid for it.
Come on, does that really add up to anything?
I've already made around $200. The extra cash helped pay down my bills, and I even had a little extra left to treat myself.
And the Upside app is free?
Totally free, and the cash back is real. You can transfer the cash right to your bank account.
I'm downloading Upside right now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code OIL to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code OIL for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code OIL for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Join Mosby Building Arts every Saturday from 12 to 1 p.m. on 97.1 FM. Rich Orse and guests give insider tips about renovations, design, construction, exteriors, and more. Tune in to Right at Home with Rich on Saturdays or catch the podcast online.
St. Louis physician Dr. Abicki created Neovitin 15 years ago to help support his own nutrition when he needed it most. Since then, Neovitin has helped thousands of people support their daily nutrition with sensible doses of vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and Dr. Abicki's proprietary blend. If you're ready to join many St. Louisans in supporting their nutrition, give Neovitin a try. You can find Neovitin at your local Schnucks, Dierbergs, and online at neovitin.com.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Tom Basile series, the host of America Right Now on Newsmax.
The bribery allegations would be catastrophic, not only for Biden, but for faith in our own institutions. You'd need to have an impeachment.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
So the poll for today, what level of government gives you the greatest concern? Local, state, or federal? That is the Annie Frey Show YouTube poll of the day. Get online and vote, and in about 5 minutes here, you'll hear the results from Hannah. The time is 2:48. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
I could write a record full of radio songs, do a bunch of features that my label would love, do a bunch of features that I don't even like, just to build up the hype. Yeah, I could sell my house and move out to LA. Get inside the rooms with the biggest of names. Hire 50 people just to give me advice on the way I should write. Oh God, yeah.
This
Sounds like a
is the
nightmare
Annie
if you
Frey
ask
Show.
me. Yeah. Went from my bedroom to the big leagues. You know how many times that I was told things wouldn't work but worked out. Having cold feet didn't keep me from success but delayed it some. I used to be the guy who killed to get it number one. I had to hear that song's a hit before I thought it was. But nowadays I don't really give a what? Oh God, might catch me at the award show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Amazon Prime Day. It's happening now and tomorrow, and we've made some purchases. I'm pretty excited about mine.
Yeah, me too.
You are?
I'm thrilled. I can't wait for this thing to come in the mail. When I open it, it's going to be like Christmas is what I think it's going to be like, Annie.
I can tell that you're full of crap by the way you're talking. So Prime Day continues to tomorrow. We want you to keep suggesting things to us through Twitter or through however you're going to comment or reach out to us. Things that you think that might be great deals on Amazon Prime Day that would fit any of our personalities. You can tweet Brad at Range Brad, Hannah at One Hannah Gibbs, Ryan at Radio Wiggins, me at Annie Frey Show, and we might do it again tomorrow if you really find something that piques our interest. I will tell you that I did buy one thing that was suggested to the show today. Let's go to Hannah. Can you read some of the comments and some of the features on today's YouTube live chat poll? What level of government gives you the greatest concern? Before Hannah gets those comments up, Ryan, you said in this one?
Yeah, I'm going to, hopefully if we do this tomorrow, I get something that is a little bit more fun. This is an
Ryan, wait. You're not listening
You're
to
answering
the
the
show.
poll here, bud.
You weren't listening to me and you full of crap. Were you listening?
Just state it again, just to be sure.
I thought we were doing the Amazon, but we're doing the poll.
Oh, the poll. Okay.
I wanted to get some comments out there, and I was giving Hannah the amount of time that she needed to get the poll question
We're
or
ready.
the responses. So I went to Ryan, but then Ryan wasn't paying any attention. So let's go back to Hannah.
All right. Today's YouTube live chat poll question is asking what level of government gives you the greatest concern? Local government, state government, or federal government?
You said government like Ronald Reagan.
Government.
Government. All right. Jackie Dalton says federal, they have the most power. Power can be dangerous. Erica Price from YouTube says, I picked the federal government. We have the least amount of direct impact on them, and they have the most potential to overreach with their power. Kurt Voss says, I live in Illinois, so it's state and federal equally.
You can't do that. You got to pick one. No. It's obviously state. You said it first. Make it so.
Patrick said, I said federal due to Missouri being heavily conservative currently and generally doing the right things.
I'm jealous.
Yeah,
Patrick.
we're all a little jelly.
If you go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel, the poll, which you can go vote in here before we get to the results at the end of the show, it's in the live chat portion of today's live broadcast. So a few of your comments featured there by Hannah. Hannah will bring us the results here at the end. I'll go first. Should I talk about my Amazon purchase first?
Yeah, I have no idea what you have.
I did, in fact, go buy the Viking hat.
You did?
Yeah. And it's really for you, Ryan.
The wool one?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, okay.
With the horns.
Yep.
It might just be something that has to live in the studio.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll put that up somewhere in here.
Yeah. Is that appropriation of some kind? Did I make a mistake? I don't know.
Nordic culture is going to be really mad at you, but don't worry
And
about
when they
them.
get
Who cares
mad.
about them?
Well,
big mad.
It just made the Vikings mad. That's all.
Who have they ever hurt?
They'll see me and be like, oh no, she's one of us. It looks like it's made of yarn. I bought that, and I bought a drafting chair for my studio at home. There is a really nice looking, it's a drafting chair, which is like the chair we're all sitting in these right now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yours is a little low. Or you're just that short.
No, I'm sitting kind of low.
Okay. I can hardly see your face.
He's not sitting. He's standing.
It's like a counter high chair, and the studio that I have that we built in my house during COVID has a desk that can be raised so I could stand sometime, but it requires a drafting chair. When I needed a chair, work here gave me one, but it was clearly like the one nobody wanted to sit in because the base of the chair is so short and it leans down, so the whole time you just kind of slowly
Yeah, the
slip
chairs
off.
that nobody wants to sit in, that's all of these actual chairs
This
we
is
have
a good
every
one.
day.
I like this chair.
Well, that's the
That's
one
the
good
only
one.
good one.
You got the good one.
Oh.
It's the one that's frayed at the end, isn't it?
It's had better days, but it's not. It still works. But then the other thing about that chair that I have in my house is the footrest. this ring that's on the footrest, it doesn't move up. My feet can't reach it. So I'm sliding off, and there's nothing I can do to
I
keep
don't
me
know
on
who
the chair.
purchased the chairs for the studios at this building.
It's for a child.
But they clearly had never sat down before.
Yeah. So I got a chair, and it was 49% off. I'm pretty happy about that. I paid $66 for it, and it's listed at $129.99, and it's 4 out of 5 stars. It's not. I didn't. You get what you pay for with these things, certainly. So I'm hoping that I didn't get something cheap because I paid something cheap, but we'll see. We'll give you a review. And I bought the face mask. What'd you buy, Ryan?
I bought Amazon Basics non-scratch sponges 6-pack, I believe.
What? What are you going to use those for? The shower?
I have
The bath?
what's called a man bathroom in the basement that doesn't get cleaned as much. And
Is there a mirror on the ceiling?
I recognize that. No, that's in the bedroom.
Oh my god!
Here, this is the second time you said that on the show.
I'm just saying. It's
Why
not
did
weird.
you buy these?
The sponges.
The what?
Scrub sponges.
Scrumptious.
Because I needed to clean my bathroom. I need to clean my shower. I need to clean everything, and I need to start somewhere. And it's Prime Day.
I'm glad you got the non-scratch ones.
Hannah, what'd you buy?
I kind of went crazy. I got an iPad.
Woo! Money packs.
Yes.
Have you ever had an iPad of your own?
No, I have a MacBook and it's kind of large, so I wanted something smaller. It was 15% off, so yeah, went ahead and got an iPad.
That's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
All right, baller. What about you, Brad?
Well, I got two things. The first thing that I got was I got a 5-pack of 1/4-inch headphone adapters.
Oh, thank you.
Those things are like gold around here. So
Thank
the
you.
2-pack.
Well, we all
I'm sorry.
use them.
I got 2 5-packs. So they were regularly $12.99, 31% off, $8.86. So I got 2 of those. So I spent $16 on the adapters. Now I've got 10 of them.
It's a pretty good deal.
And then the other thing that I got was a case for my GoPro. It has little compartments to put all my GoPro accessories and whatnot in there, and it's a hard case and it's waterproof. And that was
Good deal?
$25, and it was regularly $50.
Oh,
So 50%
yeah, that is a good
off.
deal.
Dang.
Yeah. The key is to find things that you would buy anyway for less money.
Mm-hmm. My sponges were $3.98 usually. Today, though, $3.30.
Thank you for participating.
Oh, my
we're going to
gosh.
do it again tomorrow. If we all agree, I'll ask you guys tomorrow.
Okay.
YouTube live chat poll before we wrap.
Today's YouTube live chat poll is asking what level of government gives you the greatest concern? Local government, state government, or the federal government? With over 180 votes, 78% of the people said the federal government gives them the greatest concern. 12% say state, 9% say local. So
And I think
78 say the federal
It's a lot of
government.
you freedom lovers in Missouri voting in today's poll.
Yeah.
Any of you people who have fled the state of Illinois, you know my peril. Thank you for being with us today. We're always grateful for any time that you share with us, and stick around because the Mark Reardon Show right here after we wrap on 97.1 FM Talk.
I'm gonna lose control tonight.